Warning. This video contains super awesome content not suitable for people who don't enjoy super awesomeness. Viewer discretion advised.
Welcome to Viewer's Choice. Your selection is about to begin. But first, take a look at what else you can see this week.
Hey, dudes, inviting you to travel through time. First stop, a long layover at the video store.
Bogus.
Wait, you've got Viewer's Choice.
Excellent.
Hello, you rotten little bloodsuckers.
America's most popular. Now get extra value. $12.50 cash back.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. What? Say what again?
Let's get out of here! Like now!
Life gives you lemons. Don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back. Get mad. I don't want your damn lemons. What am I supposed to do with these? Demand to see life's manager. Make life through the day and thought it could give Cave Johnson lemons. Do you know who I am? I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down with the lemons.
This is my ship, the Nebuchadnezzar. This is the core. Will be broadcast by pirate signal back into the Matrix.
Welcome to the Nebuchadnezzar with your host, Anesto, Morado, the double-headed coin, and your co-host, Pablo Morado.
What's up? What's good?
Together, we are the Paranormal Experience Podcast.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Paranormal Experience Podcast.
What's up, America? What's going on?
Oh, man. What did you think of the new intro?
I like it. It's very interesting. Kind of encompasses what we do.
Yeah, it has a bunch of the Easter eggs of all the little. Did you catch all all of our favorite movies in there?
Yeah. You can't handle the truth.
And then you also have Goonies was thrown in there as well.
Yeah, I heard.
And
this is
and
our world
Spaceballs.
down here. Their world is up there.
Yep. So I threw a little bit of everything. So all those that know us will get a kick out of all the little.
I like the
Easter eggs
little
I put in
retro
there.
vibe that it provides.
Yeah, I figured I saw some other podcasts and I got like the idea of maybe we can go to our roots. You're the 80s and I'm a 90s baby, so it's like, I think that would be perfect for the podcast and give us a little unique flavor as opposed to what else is out there.
Yeah, I mean, this is our composition. This is how we were made. I'm 80s made me. 90s
Right.
made you.
Exactly. And you heard a little bit of Iron Maiden in the beginning there, and we can do that because we are part of Podcasting 2.0, and that's
all right.
great news. Yeah. So the fact that we're part of Podcasting 2.0 means that we are free from any puppet strings. We're not affiliated with any one company. And that means even Spotify, even though you might find us on Spotify, we're not adhering to any rules or regulations. We are a true pirate radio.
Wow, so we're free.
We're completely free. And the way we operate is very simple. You go to the
So you should put Mel Gibson. Freedom.
Yeah, I gotta get that. If you guys are listening and you guys have that sound clip, please send it to us. And that's the pyramidshop.com. You can find all our information right there on the contact screen. You can send us some stuff. And you can also donate. That's how we keep this podcast going, through donation. And those that donate.
Guandolito on cue?
Guandolito? No.
You gotta cue him up so our audience can meet our new extraterrestrial friend.
Oh yeah. Guandolito. Because he got eyes like guandulas, right?
Yeah. He looks like a guandul.
Right, he does. So for those that donate to the podcast, you guys are not philanthropists. You're not, donating out of the kindness of your heart. You're actually participating into the podcast itself. You are podcast producers, and we'll name you as such in the middle of the segment when we do have any producers to this show. Okay, now we got that out of the way. Let's start the podcast. Now I got a clip here that would perfectly start us up. Let me just set you up here. All right. Now, I happened to stumble upon this through the multitude of different podcasts I listened to. I think this was brought on to, or I discovered this through the No Agenda podcast, and this was pretty interesting. This was back in the 1987. But check out before we start going into, because there's a lot of heavy topics. I want you to get a good idea of what the mind was like in 1987. And this guy is John Cleese talking on extremism for those that are just listening.
About extremism recently, a nastier, harsher atmosphere everywhere, more abuse and bother boy behavior, less friendliness and tolerance and respect for opponents. All right, but what we never hear about extremism is its advantages. Well, the biggest advantage of extremism is that it makes you feel good because it provides you with enemies. Let me explain. The great thing about having enemies is that you can pretend that all the badness in the whole world is in your enemies and all the goodness in the whole world is in you. Attractive, isn't it? So if you have a lot of anger and resentment in you anyway, and you therefore enjoy abusing people, then you can pretend that you're only doing it because these enemies of yours are such very bad persons. And that if it wasn't for them, you'd actually be good-natured and courteous and rational all the time. So if you want to feel good, become an extremist. Okay, now you have a choice. If you join the hard left, they'll give you their list of authorized enemies. Almost all kinds of authority, especially the police, city, Americans,
the Democrats,
judges, multinational corporations, public schools, furriers, newspaper owners, fox hunters, generals, class traitors, and, of course, moderates. Or, if you'd rather be an extremist on the hard right, no problem, fine, you still get a lovely list of enemies, only they're different ones. Noisy minority groups, unions, Russia, weirdos, demonstrators, welfare sponges, meddlesome clergy, peaceniks, BBC, strikers, social workers, communists, and, of course, moderates and upstart actors. Now, once you're armed with one of these super lists of enemies, you can be as nasty as you like and yet feel your behaviors morally justified. So you can strut around abusing people and telling them you could eat them for breakfast and still think of yourself as a champion of the truth, a fighter for the greater good. and not the rather sad paranoid schizoid that you really are. And all this explains what we've seen at party conferences. Everyone's sitting there looking grim and bored, and then a speaker gets up with real fire in his belly, as well as dyspepsia, and he says, the other party really are the most awful bunch of rotters, the most left-wing or right-wing bunch there's ever been in this great country of ours, and it would be a disaster if they ever got into power or held on to power. That's all we must get into power or hold on to power, but that's going to be a tremendous fight, a terrific struggle, and we can't relax and enjoy ourselves. No, we must struggle and fight and fight and struggle and struggle and struggle and fight against these enemies, and then...
So you get the point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
And that's still that is very relevant today.
Exactly. In 1987, this was filmed. In 1987.
Wow.
Could you imagine? He had no idea that the world that we were coming into.
That is fascinating.
And now it's more relevant than ever. But he's right. People. That's just, you get a list of enemies, and they're the enemies, and you can do whatever egregious thing to a human being and feel
you can
justified.
bash them.
Exactly.
Bash them, and feel good about it. Why? Because they're the enemy.
Exactly. That's right.
And then the other side does the same thing, and that's the world we live in right now.
Right. All polarized and filled with all kinds of people don't know what the truth is anymore. People don't know what to believe, and people are just fighting each other. And if you think one thing, you're all of a sudden a racist. If you think these vaccines don't seem right, oh, you're a racist bigot. Or
You're irresponsible. You're participating and perpetuating the disease.
Right.
So it's strange how we're like living in two different worlds. And if you happen to walk in to one world and you're from another and you say the wrong thing, my God, you're going to get ostracized.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these days, even gender is a question. You can't even, assume anything anymore. You can't look at a person and say, well, that's a him, that's a her. Because truth now.
God, don't get me started on the gender business. Because I heard a video, I heard an audio on the Jesse Kelly show.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reporter asking this politician, biologically, there's men and women, right? She's like, that's your opinion.
Right.
You've imposed this.
Oh,
and he's like, no, that's not what I'm asking. Let's do it a better way. Answer yes or no. Is there male and female, right? Biologically, anatomically. Answer yes or no. She goes, it all depends on your perspective. And he's like, so you cannot answer this question yes or no. And she's like, no, because you got to look at, what you're labeling it.
Right.
So he's like, so you cannot say, yes or no that there are male and females. So what lays eggs? The rooster or the hen? She goes, obviously is the hen.
Right.
So the hen is the female? Well, that's what you said.
Oh my God.
Look it up.
What is it called?
Just put in reporter ask politician about male and female.
Okay, let me look it up.
I forget the name of the lady politician.
I'm just checking the Library of Alexandria real quick. Just give me a second. So Trump berates female reporter. Is it Trump? U.S. Donald President told female reporter keep her voice down and relax.
No.
Let's see here.
Maybe type in reporter ask politician. Can rooster are hens and rooster male or female? Because it's a very interesting video. I heard it on the radio, so
let's see.
I will presume the video is even better because I want to see the expression on this lady's face.
Because I see here, this was 4 years ago.
No, this just happened.
Maybe this. Let's see.
Culture is now normalizing the idea that minors can be given hormones to prevent their biological development of their secondary sexual characteristics. Dr. Levine, you have supported both allowing minors to be given hormone blockers to prevent them from going through puberty, as well as surgical destruction of a minor's genitalia. Like surgical mutilation, hormonal interruption of puberty can permanently alter and prevent secondary sexual characteristics. The American College of Pediatricians reports that 80 to 95% of prepubertal children with gender dysphoria will experience resolution by late adolescence if not exposed to medical intervention and social affirmation. Dr. Levine, do you believe that minors are capable of making such a life-changing decision as changing one's sex?
Well, Senator, thank you for your interest in this question. Transgender medicine is a very complex and nuanced field with robust research and standards.
I don't know. I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but I don't trust her just by looking at her. She doesn't look. She looks like you go back to her house and you find boxes all over the place
and a million cats. And one sandbox.
I am fortunate enough to
be. And she doesn't know how she navigates through her house. You gotta like shimmy across different things.
Yeah.
Confirmed as the Assistant Secretary of Health. I look forward to working with you and your office and coming to your office and discussing the particulars of the standards of care for transgender medicine.
The specific question was about minors. Let's be a little more specific since you evaded the question. Do you support the government intervening to override the parent's consent to give a child puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and/or amputation surgery of breasts and genitalia? You have said that you're willing to accelerate the protocols for street kids. I'm alarmed that poor kids with no parents who are homeless and distraught, you would just go through this and allow that to happen to a minor. I would hope that you would have compassion for Kira Bell, who's a 23-year-old girl who was confused with her identity. At 14, she read on the internet about something about transsexual. She thought, well, maybe that's what I am. She ended up getting these puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones. She had her breasts amputated. But here's what ultimately she says now. And this is a very insightful decision from someone who made a mistake but was led to believe this was a good thing by the medical community. I made a brash decision as a teenager, as a lot of teenagers do, trying to find confidence and happiness, except now the rest of my life will be negatively affected, she said, adding that the medicalized gender transitioning was a very temporary, superficial fix for a very complex identity issue. What I'm alarmed at is that you're not willing to say absolutely minors shouldn't be making decisions to amputate their breast or to amputate their genitalia. For most of our history, we have believed that minors
but
don't
it
have
sounds
and the
like
parents need to be involved. So I'm alarmed that you won't say with certainty that minors should not have the ability to
go
make
towards the
decision
end.
to take hormones that will affect them. Refuse to answer.
To me, that our nominees be treated with respect.
No, this
Presentations
doesn't look like it.
Yeah. I think she said she refused. I think this is it. Go a little bit back.
Before I turn it over to Senator Murphy, I do want to say, Dr. Levine, I wanted to say I appreciated your thoughtful and medically informed response to Senator Paul's questions earlier in the hearing. It is really critical to me that our nominees be treated with respect and that our questions focus on their qualifications and the work ahead of us, rather than on ideological and harmful misrepresentations like those we heard from Senator Paul earlier. And I will focus on that as chair of this committee.
Oh,
So
you know
thank
what,
again for your
Jarrell?
response.
What?
I think that Pablo. I think that the debate
You can't
started.
be giving the people all the tea. You can't be giving the people my
your government. I think that the conversation started because I think one school are not letting transgenders participate in sports. So if you're like a man or a teenager who has converted from a man to a woman, I don't think they allow them to play in women's sports. So he asked her, isn't that teenager really a man participating in a woman's sport? I think that's how the thing started. But I think I know how to get the audio. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Unless I knew like a name of the person, like who was being interviewed.
If I get it.
But yeah, this whole gender thing has been all crazy. There's a lot of things. I actually recently on the Joe Rogan podcast, he had a mind bender of a guest. He had a transgender ex-Navy SEAL.
Interesting.
And believe it or not, she didn't agree with the whole indoctrination of everything and what's really going on and kids being able to decide whether or not they can transition. Because even she was like, this is a very complicated thing, and to just up and do surgery at a young age isn't the best option.
I agree wholeheartedly. I don't think that,
although the community is gonna not be too fond of that, the LGBTQ elemental PQ community, they're not going to be, they really push on being inclusive and all that stuff, but their kid is a kid. You can't really, I don't know, that's just my thought.
a kid shouldn't have to make those decisions. I think I got it. Let me see.
What was that?
That's Jesse Kelly's show. Let's see.
That's all it took. Say anti-Trump things. And along comes this guy, Michael Avenatti.
But anyway,
she's coming on about 30 minutes from now, and she's going to talk to us about that. Someone has a theory about Kamala Harris. Why is Dome the vice president?
yeah, let's move on.
Okay.
You know,
All right. Yeah, to find the right segment, we would have to have it clipped ahead of time.
yeah, we have
I
to.
still hear it in the background. You still have it going?
Oh, hold on. Hold on.
We get done with an Ask Dr. Jesse show on a Friday, and I take these little headphone things off, and I pack it up, and I head off to Red Lobster for a celebratory dinner with the fam.
Paranormal Experience podcast always had its own anomalies going on.
So yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No. I mean, let's see what else we have on the table for today, because there's so many things to discuss. You don't know where to begin.
We can't get dropped into a rabbit hole. So going on what we had initially wanted to discuss today, as I'm clearing out this this Trello board here. Let me just see. Just want to make sure.
By the way, interesting nugget. This past weekend, we celebrated the 70th anniversary of the Roswell incident. 70 years ago. Okay. 70 years ago, aliens crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. And you know what? I know this is off the cuff, and we're trying to minimize on doing stuff off the cuff, but I think it'll be fascinating because I found it extremely fascinating hearing this on the radio. It was the original broadcast about the alien crash in Roswell. See if you could find it. Very good. And if you listen to it, how can you say that something did not happen in Roswell, New Mexico? I know we're all over the page, folks, but this is who we are. Me and Pablo, this is how we start off when we meet each other. We go soup to nuts.
The conversations. Yeah, we go all over. But I'm gonna bank this because we do have a UFO segment coming up later in the cast.
Oh, right, fantastic!
So we'll put this in the UFO section here. But
yeah, we'll discuss that later.
Real quick, let me just see here. We are stumbling into the new week, and we're just going over all the new news that's been happening over the few weeks that we've been apart. Really quickly, it's been a couple of weeks. We had some ups and downs trying to get this podcast together. It's been rough, but we're here. We're here now, and we have to catch up on some of the things that happened in the past, like what you sent me about Russia sending a nuclear missile, testing a nuclear missile. That's crazy. I mean,
what's even more crazy is that North Korea blasted, I don't know how.
Sorry, North Korea.
North Korea, I think, launched 14 missiles into the ocean. Right?
Oh my God.
But check this out. Now the Americans were like, oh, you can test. We told you not to do this, and you do it anyway.
Why are you
so? Now South Korea, in conjunction with the Americans, did their own missile test adjacent to North Korea. So North Korea launched, and so did the Americans on the South Korean, border.
Unbelievable. So we're playing nuclear missile games.
Yeah, where
You didn't see that coming?
I didn't see that coming at all.
Oh man, that's insane. I can't believe that's
But
we've come.
this whole thing with Russia, that didn't even make the mainstream. I
Right.
caught that, because I have a news app on my phone, and he launched a nuclear missile into the sea. He tested it, and not a word. But we know why they didn't. We all know
No, yeah, of
why.
course, because the media is controlled. Obviously, look this way. They're focusing everybody on Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, which is
Right.
not
But
important. It has
but
nothing
not
to do with
only that,
anybody.
it's the fact that if Trump had been in power, this thing would have blazed through all liberal platforms.
Oh, for
Like,
sure, everyone would have.
oh my God, we're at the brink. Oh my God, they launched.
He has the nuclear codes. We gotta stop him.
Yeah. But since Biden,
Judge
Mr.
my physical and
Brandon,
mental, my physical as well as my mental fitness.
Get it right. If not, if you don't get it right, we have Lucy on deck.
Oh, that's
Lucy will
right.
give you a pow pow. So,
Yeah.
this guy is in power. And if they broadcast the fact that Putin is launching these nuclear warheads into the sea, then that makes Biden or Brandon look weak, because this guy, what the hell is he doing? He doesn't even know.
It's a conspiracy, man.
It ain't a conspiracy. This guy, they got him pumped up with so much drugs, so he can get up
Yeah, I
into the
mean,
podium that,
We choose truth over facts.
Oh my God.
Prescription jugs.
Truth over facts.
We choose truth over facts.
We choose.
Oh man. And he goes home thinking
superb.
No, he goes home to his tapioca pudding, his little soft Gerber food, because I don't think he can chew anymore. But it's a disgrace. Things are going on in the world, and if it affects the president, they're not going to report it. But God forbid the other side. The other side reports everything bad that, the liberals say. It's so disingenuous. It's like you don't know what to believe anymore. But moving right along.
Yeah, so we want to also discuss about all the crazy shootings that were going on, and you had sent me one. We had discussed this last week, but unfortunately the stream didn't go live. But you had sent me something, which was the Buffalo shooters live stream video, where he's in this car, and we're not going to show it for those that are thinking that we're going to show this video. We're not going to show it here. You're going to have to find it in the interwebs. But the brief description: the Buffalo shooter, he's wearing like camo. He looks like he's in World of Warcraft. What am I saying? I'm acting like Joe Biden here. No, he looks like he's in
Pow
COD.
pow.
Yeah, I gotta give myself a pow pow. Hold on, let me get this going.
Pow! If only I could pow! Pow!
There you go.
So yeah, in the Buffalo Shooter video, he's like dressed up as a military person, like a Call of Duty, and he's driving up, and he quickly parks in the middle of the street, comes out, and there's a couple of white women come down. He quickly takes his aim, shoots, bum bum bum, goes into like a drugstore. As he's moving towards a drugstore, he's shooting everybody in his path. Boom, boom, boom. He gets
It wasn't
to
a
an aisle.
drugstore.
Oh, what
It was
was
a
it? It was a
supermarket.
supermarket. Oh, it was a
Mhm.
supermarket. Yeah, you're right. It was a supermarket. Right. So he goes into the supermarket. He sees some more people, some black people this time. Boom, boom, boom. He keeps walking. And then he goes down to the checkout lanes and he looks over and he points his gun towards people that were like hiding from him in the aisles, and they scream. They go, ah! And he goes, oh, sorry. And he runs away, and that's the end of the clip. That's the end of the whole.
You don't have the
stream.
audio of that? I know we don't want to show the video, but can you have them listen to the audio? Is that possible?
It could be possible, yeah. Let me see here. Real quickly, might be able to do this. Luckily, I didn't delete it off my phone, because that way I can easily send it here.
Because the the audio can be compelling,
Yeah, I mean, you can hear everything that I'm describing. It's very disturbing. Let me see here. You know what? I'm gonna have to do it like this.
Sometimes the audience got to get the raw footage, so that they can understand.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. I'll play this here. See if you guys can. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
So he shoots this woman. Oh my god. Blue dress. He's walking into the supermarket, shooting into shoots a person. You're right. It's a big supermarket. Shoots a black. Oh my god, this is horrible. This looks like the live stream is cutting in and out. He's losing service. A person is struggling to breathe. He shoots him in the head. The stream is loading here. It's getting really bad. He shoots some more people. I don't know if you caught that. Did you hear that?
I hear it. I heard it.
That's the most important part. He goes. He's in the aisles, and he looks over, and someone is like hiding for their dear life, and they scream. Sorry. And he says sorry. They scream sorry, and he moves along. Now, why the hell would somebody, after killing countless people, all of a sudden go sorry when somebody starts screaming? And it seems to me that nobody was screaming because nobody foresaw this. Nobody he caught everybody off guard. But the one person that actually screamed, he goes sorry. And that to me screams MK Ultra, some kind of mind control or something, because who goes out of their let's say you're suicidal, right? And you want to kill yourself and you want to take a few people down with you. Why would why would you all of a sudden, snap out of it when somebody goes, ah, oh, sorry, like that? Or why would you be doing that in the first place? If you're going to kill yourself, go kill yourself. Why are you going to kill other people with you? Like I don't get it.
See, I was discussing that yesterday with one of my colleagues, and the first big massive shooting, which happened in Columbine, if I'm correct, right?
Let's
The
look
one
it
that
up.
we remember the most was
Columbine is
Columbine.
yeah.
I don't
I'm
think
not
that
sure if
was
it's
the
the first.
first, but it's one of the ones that stick to the back of our minds, which they put. I think that put like massive shootings on the map. Um, Having that happen once is traumatizing and scary, and it exposes how unprepared we are for these kind of situations. But little did we know that this was going to be a trend, and
Right.
it was going to happen so many times after that shooting.
I mean,
But
I'm looking here, and Columbine is recent memory, but looking at what I'm let me see if I share this. So the history, this is on K12academics.com. It says history of school shootings in the United States. The earliest known United States shooting to happen on school property was the Pontiac Rebellion School Massacre on July 26, 1764, where four Lenape, I don't know how you pronounce that, Lenape, American Indian, entered the schoolhouse near the present day Greencastle, Pennsylvania, shot and killed schoolmaster Enoch Brown, and killed 9 or 10 children. Only two children survived. That was in the 1764. And then if you keep going into the 1800s, you have November 2nd, 1853, Louisville, Kentucky. A student, Matthew Ward, brought a self-cocking pistol in the morning, went to school, and killed schoolmaster Mr. Butler for excessively punishing his brother the day before. And it keeps going. Chattanooga, Tennessee, Salisbury, 1873, 1884, 1886. So it keeps going into the 1900s. Let's see, 1903, Inman, South Carolina. Edward Foster, 17-year-old student at Inman High School, was shot and fatally wounded by his teacher, Reuben Pitts, after he jerked a rod from Pitts' hand to resist punishment. Wow. So the teacher killed him because he was resisting his punishment. According to the teacher, Foster struck the pistol Pitts had drawn to defend himself, thus causing it to discharge. Pitts was later acquitted of murder. Wow.
But you see how
it goes
they're
so far back in the 40s and then the 50s, and
yeah, but you see that
it's like ever present.
There's a pause in between. A couple of years, go by, then another massive shooting, then there's
Yeah, it looks like
a
okay. So
respite. But now
you
it's
had
happening.
1764. Then it went from 1764, nothing until 1853, which is a big gap. And then you have 1853, then from 1853 to 1866, then 67, then 68. Then there's a gap between 68 to 73. That's 1873, 1873 to 1879, 1884. So it seems like every like 4 or 5 years or so, 1884, 86, 87, 89, 1891. Whew. So it's like every other year, then 1902, 1903, 1906, 1907, 1908. Whew. It's you say it all the time, but history repeats itself, and we think we're
Yeah.
unique. And you go back into history. Look, 1942, 43, 46, 48, 49, 50, 51, 50, 1952, 53, almost every year, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 60s, nonstop. It's just every year there's some 1979 Grover Cleveland elementary school shootings in California. 16-year-old opened fire with a rifle, a gift from her father, killing 2 and wounding 9. 1979. So this is just a pattern that of humanity that we just keep on repeating. And then, oh man. So the big change was, it was one that year and then one next year, or maybe 2 that year and maybe one next year. But then in the 90s, it went from like 1 or 2 to like 44. Look at this. 44 homicides and 55 deaths in 92. 42 in 93. 17 in 94, 29, 23, 35.
It looks like it's quickening. It's getting
Yeah, like a lot more. And then it slowed down in 98. Then the 2000, it just went above and beyond. 19 in 2000 to
What year was
2001.
Columbine?
Let's see.
It should be on that list. Because that's the one that I really,
1999. So in 99.
That's the one that really, in my
Here,
opinion,
look.
put this massive shooting on the map.
1999, Colorado, 14 students, including shooters, and 1 teacher killed. 27 others were wounded. So that was like the big one. Because it seems like in the past, well, I don't know, because this one, look, in 98, 2 students were killed, 22. Okay, so yeah, it seems like this is the most death that happened in one day. 14 students.
Yeah, and then we have the one that happened last week. How many people died in that? How many kids?
Yeah, let's see.
I mean, it seems to me that something is in the ether. Something is making these young people snap.
So 21 people dead in the Uvalde school shooting. 21 died and 17 more injured.
21 kids died.
Yeah. But there's some fishiness going on because, this whole apparently the cops just sat by and did nothing, prevented parents from going into the school to save their kids. And as soon as he went inside, they treated it as a hostage situation and just stayed outside and did nothing. Like, what the hell? This is why I think that there's more to this because, you have this one guy.
Let's unpack this a bit. Let's unpack this. Okay. Let's say, for hypothetical reasons, you were there. You're the cop. You're a cop.
Right.
You're assigned to this school shooting.
Mm-hmm.
In your heart of hearts, now be honest now.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have the gonads to enter the building and see if you could stop this guy?
Honestly, I wouldn't know because I've never been in that position. but I have been in positions where I put myself, and then after the fact, I realized, oh man, he could have had a gun. Oh man, that could have been more dangerous than what it was. Especially when I used to work for our friend Andy, and I used to work in a supermarket, and there was a lot of times people in certain areas of Brooklyn, they take it upon themselves. They get so angry about certain things that they want to go ahead and fight for whatever it is that they want, discounts or whatever. Sometimes people fight off of a price that's like 10% or 10 cents rather difference. People fight, like literally fist fight for that kind of stuff. Or because some
Bag of
person had
chips was empty.
right, some stupid nonsense people would fight over. And there was one instance where somebody was willing to fight a cashier, and I put myself between that person and the cashier, and I escorted them out of there. I don't know. In my I might have, knowing that there's kids, and if I'm a cop, I signed up for that. I would. I mean, that's part of the job. I mean, isn't that what you want? That's the excitement that you've been
Okay.
looking for.
The reason I ask you that question, there's not a correct question.
No, I mean a correct
You,
answer. You mean a correct answer?
I mean a correct answer.
Right.
Pow pow.
Hold on, I got you right now.
If only I could pow, pow, pow.
There's not a correct answer to this, which is the dilemma. Okay. In this particular instant, the cops held back. They didn't storm the building.
Right.
And kids were killed. Right?
Right.
And this order came from the top. They said,
right, apparently,
don't enter the building.
Right.
So the cops did what they were told.
Precisely.
Kids died.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Kids died.
That's correct.
Now you have the road cop, right? Or road cops. They say the hell with what the top is saying. Their kids getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna storm the building.
Right.
And in the end, kids died.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a double-edged sword because now, if you go in, the media spin is, oh, you shouldn't have gone in. Exacerbated the situation, and since you were in there, they killed kids. So now you're persona non grata. If you don't go in, kids die. The media spin is lives could have been saved while these people were outside doing nothing. So there's no correct answer.
That's
Because
true.
the media,
I mean,
is going to spin it. If you do
what serves the media, whatever serves them best, that's what they.
No,
that's the
I'm
way they're gonna
saying
spin it.
what I want to say is if you do what your heart says is right, and there's killing anyway, the media will find a way to blame you. If you stay back and the kids die anyway, the media is going to find a way to blame you. So the cops, they're not that I'm a fan of, law enforcement.
I get the predicament that they're in, but
they're in a predicament.
If parents, I mean, if you were, let's say you're a cop, let's say you're in that situation, right? And you were told, don't let anyone in. But you're seeing parents crying, I got to get my son, I got to get my daughter, whatever. You're just going to say, no, you can't go in?
Well, I've been in sort of a situation like that. You know, when I was a kid, there was a 3 alarm fire on Mulberry Street, and my uncle had taken all his kids out, and my cousin, he's disabled. You know, he's mentally disabled, so he didn't know what was going on. So when my uncle took everybody out, my cousin went back into the building and went back to bed because he was sleepy. You know, he didn't understand that there's like a fire raging through the building. My uncle says, "Where is so and so?" And my aunt says, "Oh my God, he went back inside." So as my uncle goes to go into the building, they stop him. "No, you can't go in. It's too dangerous." So my uncle, not following the firefighters' rule or his demand not to go in, yeah, he found a way. And in the chaos of the fire, he entered the building again. When as the fire was raging, he went back in, took my cousin, brought him outside, and saved his life.
Wow.
And I remember this like if it was yesterday. So the cops, the firefighters were sort of doing the right thing, you know, telling him not to go back inside because he's not a professional.
Right.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Exactly.
So not only do you put yourself in harm's way, you kind of impede the professionals by them doing their job.
Right.
You know, he's going up the stairs and firefighters, you know, are more trained at this, and they find this guy trying to save his son, and because of that, more people die. You understand what I'm saying?
No,
On
I
this
get you.
particular instant, it worked out. But we also had friends in that building, and the same thing happened to our friends where they took all their kids out. Oh my God, we forgot one. And they went to go in the building. The firefighters said no. And they took the suggestion, and that child succumbed to the fire. So now we have two scenarios where one person followed the directions and one didn't. For the one that didn't, he was able to save his kid. For the one that did, they lost their kid. They found him in the bathtub. He has succumbed to the smoke. And I remember this like yesterday. So I understand the cops that say, no, you cannot go in and get your child. Because you're not trained in that situation. And instead of helping, you might make situations worse. So my input on this is there is no right answer. When something like this happens, there is no right answer. You could be a hero or you cannot be a hero. But in the end, you have to make the call despite what the media is going to spin.
Right.
You know,
well, speaking of that, so I have some media spin for you right now. Well, this is off media. This is a comedian, one of my favorite, Andrew Schultz. He roasted the U of I cops, Uvalde, whatever cops. And I think it's
easy for him to do because he wasn't there.
Right.
You understand? But let's see what he's got to say.
Yeah, let's see her.
Apartment, you cowering. Uvalde Police Department, you cowering cumrags. You had to know this was coming. You're more useless than a rape whistle in Bangladesh.
This is not India.
For those of you who don't know what happened, there was a school shooting in Uvalde, Texas last week, and the police just waited outside the classroom like Kanye trying to steal his own kids. How long did they wait? 50 minutes. Governor Abbott moves faster on the beach. You're less responsive than Lamar Odom in a whorehouse. Was the city named after your policing? Uvalde. They called in the SWAT team and they did nothing too. Does SWAT stand for sit, wait, and tuck your cock between your thighs, you steer-sucking fairies? Now, I know what you're thinking. Why'd they stand around for 50 minutes? Probably because they forgot their lawn chairs. These lazy, limp dick cowards couldn't rescue a cat from a bonsai tree. Save the kids. They couldn't save 10% or more on car insurance by switching to Geico. And as far as the shooter goes, fuck the shooter. He doesn't get our attention, okay? We're gonna act like Uvalde PD and pretend he doesn't exist. The only place his name belongs is on a tombstone. And after 50 minutes of being more useless than Forrest Whitaker's monocle, they didn't even take out the shooter. We don't know exactly what happened because Uvalde PD's story is shakier than Ozzy Osbourne trying to fill out a Scantron. But it wasn't until an off-duty Border Patrol agent forced his way into the school against the cops' will that the shooter was killed. So we owe Border Patrol an apology, okay? Their unbelievable bravery and their expertise.
That's another interesting part of the whole story. That the Border Patrol.
I wasn't
aware of the Border Patrol.
All the difference. In conclusion, Uvalde Police Department, you all deserve to be fired. I mean, this is ridiculous. You can't just sit around and do nothing about a school shooting. Who the fuck do you think you are? Politicians?
So
now you see that spin that he has. But you know, in my opinion, you're damned if you do and if you're damned if you don't. You know, he would have went.
Make an excellent point. You definitely make an excellent point because you know, any which way you would, any move you made, they would have blame the cops anyway because kids are gonna die no matter what.
You know, my opinion on this whole situation is why. Now, this is gonna sound controversial, but why does the public have access to buying assault weapons in the first place? Now, the gun nuts are going to say because the United States Army, the United States law enforcement has access to them. If they have access to them, we should have access to them. So it kind of harkens back to me why in England, you know, the bobbies, the beat cops.
The bobbies?
Yeah, that's what they're called. The bobbies, because they wear those bobby hats. They don't have weapons. All they have is a stick. The nightstick.
Oh, right. Okay.
So maybe we have come to a moment in time where we have to rethink this whole weapons thing, you know, because why do you need an assault weapon for hunting?
Well,
you know,
it's not really for hunting, I don't think. I mean, why would you need it? I don't know.
Why would you need it for protection?
Well, the argument, I believe, is that if you're going to use a gun for protection, right? You don't know who's gonna be on the other side of that door, and typically gang members can get things off the black market. So you need to protect yourself against people that could get things that isn't necessarily legal, right? So if you don't have, let's say, an automatic weapon, but a gang member, which is possible, has an automatic weapon and you don't, you're outpowered, and therefore, you're not going to
Right.
stand much of a
So
chance. So
so
it's not so much you against, the thought is this invisible baddie, this bad guy person, whoever it is, maybe be a gang member or some, cartel person or whoever, if they can source these automatic weapons through illegal means, then you're pretty much asked out if all you have is a gun or a single
well,
shot rifle.
then my answer to that is stricter enforcement of the border. I mean, the assault weapon is not something that you could shove up your ass and get on, get on an airplane.
No,
These things are bulky. These things are huge.
Right.
And yet people get these things illegally, be it crossing the borders or by way of um shipping, through waters. Whatever the case may be, one of the main things that they have to enforce is the borders, our waterways, and make sure that these illegal weapons do not get into the hands of the bad guy. But at the same time, most of these massive shootings have happened with legally purchased weapons.
And I think, I don't know, because if you think about, if you listen to all these other perspectives, like the crazy Alex Jones perspective and all that, and this crazy white right wing perspective, is that they're coming after your weapons, right? And your weapons is a way of protecting yourself against the enemy unknown, whether it be the enemy of this enemy being the state or your neighbor. It's supposed to protect you. Now, the whole point of it all is that, if you're going to have a weapon to protect yourself against some crazy person out there that they can get there. If someone can get it illegally, which that's always going to be the case, right? That's the argument, and at least from the right wing perspective, I think, is that there's always going to be the case of illegally sourced weapons. So if you are unarmed,
Of course, that's always. I don't
and
think.
the whole thing
Go
of
ahead.
like the whole thing that the right wing people say is that these incidents, yes, they might be legally purchased weapons, but the majority of the people that buy these weapons don't commit the crimes. The other big thing,
Absolutely, I agree.
the other big thing, the big piece in this whole puzzle is the fact that there's a lot of all these shooters have had some kind of SSRI drug or some kind of mental history of mental illness of some sort. They all are on some kind of prescription drugs. That's
Agreed.
all a constant. So the thing is, the combination between having the gun and having the medication and the access to kill people or whatever, those all in combination cause the problem. But then if you think about it like this, if you have this crazy shooter, right, that he's gonna exist whether we want him to exist or not. He would if he bought it legally, it's because he could, but the thought process is he would have bought it in any which way that is possible to buy it. You know, if there's an illegal
Yeah,
way to
but
buy it.
here's the conundrum. Here's
Uh-huh.
where it gets dicey. If he has to go through nefarious channels to get the gun, it's gonna get a little bit tougher for that person to purchase it. So you make it hard. In the end, he might end up purchasing it anyway, illegally or whatever. Like, for example, me. I have no interest in purchasing a gun, even though guns to me are fascinating machines. I love them. I love every aspect, the way the craftsmanship, the way they look, the way they make you feel. Because immediately you have a gun at your side, you grow a set of fucking balls.
Yeah, your father's testament
Instantly,
to that.
instantly you could become the Punisher. You
Right.
know, one of
Or
my
John
favorite
Wayne.
comic book heroes. But I won't purchase one. But if I wanted to purchase one, right? And I have to go to the gun shop, fill out an application, do a background check, sit and wait for them to vet me. And then now here comes the gun. And
well, the thing is that a lot of that whole what you described, that seems to be the chink in the armor. That not every gun store that you go to goes through the background check and have to do
well, it
this and the
depends.
other.
It depends where you live. Like
Right,
in
but
New
I'm saying
York,
like the chink in the
in New
armor is
York,
that kid should have never been issued a gun if he had
okay,
no
but
mental.
let me finish my train of thought.
Okay, go ahead.
In New York, it's almost impossible to get a gun. Yet, you know, like you said, there's always a shooting, there's always something going on in the
Right.
streets. You know, people
They
get their
get it
hands on
somehow.
guns. They get it
Right.
somehow. But I'm with Jesse Ventura. He says you take these weapons off the market. You know, just allow handguns and rifles for hunting. That in itself could put a dent on these shootings. And there's proof of this. There is proof of
Well,
this because
the counterpoint to that would
Australia
be
Australia
right.
had a big problem. They eliminated guns in its entirety. There haven't been a massive shooting ever since.
But the counterpoint to that is look at the way Australia has been kind of handled, you know, throughout this whole pandemic. And the whole thing is that an unarmed society is the one that is completely beholden to our masters because we have
I
nothing to threaten
agree.
them.
I agree. You have to find that medium. And I think
But
that
I
medium
think the counterpoint.
I'm not saying eliminate guns altogether by any stretch of the imagination.
Well,
You can have a handgun, you can have a rifle. You don't
right.
need and I can't believe I'm siding with Brandon on this, but you don't need a gun that has 100 clip
I mean, I don't think that's
magazine.
necessary. I don't think that's necessary. But the counter argument to an unarmed society is a well armed one, and apparently, and this is a big saying, a saying down in Texas, is a well armed society is a polite society, right? Another way to stop that shooter would be if every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the whole school was armed, that kid will go nowhere. You know, that's the mentality.
Um,
That's the mentality anyway behind some of the Texas right wing.
I
They say an
I
armed society is a polite society, and the reason being is that
I'm not ready to take that gamble.
well, it has some logic behind it because what they're saying
There
is
is
that
logic to it,
if you're gonna
because
if you're gonna
if
commit a
you know,
crime, right? If you're
go
gonna
ahead.
commit a crime, you're 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 not gonna you'd rather not do it in a place like Texas, where most of the people there have a weapon. You know, if you're gonna commit a crime, I think if you chose to commit this crime in Texas, like rob somebody, for example, that's a big gamble because that person could easily have a gun. But if you do that in New York, nine out of 10 times that person's not gonna have a weapon. You know, so
Yeah,
you're
but if
more
you look at
likely.
the statistics, you know, Texas is one of these spots where they're having these massive shootings.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing.
I think that this is a very complicated topic,
Mm-hmm.
but you gotta crack. How does the saying say go? You gotta crack some eggs
To
to
make
make
an
an
omelet.
omelet.
Yeah.
I think we should take a bold step. Eliminate assault weapons from the market
Mm.
and see how it goes. I'm not saying eliminate weapons altogether. I think if you have a handgun in your house, because for example in New York, having a handgun legally,
Mm-hmm.
it's ridiculous. You gotta have the gun unarmed, locked in a in a case, right?
Okay.
And the ammo, you have it. You have to have it separate from the gun, locked in a case. So
Mm-hmm.
somebody, makes their way into your house. Now you're fumbling to unlock your weapon, and then you gotta fumble over to where the ammo is, unlock the
Mm-hmm.
ammo, load the weapon, and by the time you get everything all said and done, the thieves or the criminal that want to do the harm already has done the harm. So
Mm.
there's some like laws that are ridiculous. You know, I think they should start first, eliminate assault weapons. You can have handguns, you can have a rifle. Eliminate
Mm.
it. See what happens. See what happens. But that is not gonna be taken lightly. Why? Everybody hearkens to, oh, what you just said. Oh, the
Mm.
criminals have higher power weapons. They get them through nefarious end. And all the arguments to me is bunk. The reason that this is not going anywhere
Mm-hmm.
is because there is big money involved in these weapons. And there are
That's true.
politicians that are being bought off by gun nuts, rich gun nuts, the NRA. All these people perpetuate, the situation that we're in now. Nobody cares. They don't care one way or
Mm.
the other. These politicians their pockets are
That's
being
true.
lined, and it's all about money. This problem, massive shooting and all this crime, has to deal with the people up top and their corruption, and
Mm.
they're getting their pockets lined. They go win broke, they come out millionaires to billionaires. And I think you got to start from the top. That's why I agree with Jesse Ventura. If he ever gets to listen to this podcast, Mr. Ventura, I want you to reconsider, come back to the United States, run for president. You have my vote. You have my vote. Because this guy, he has some innovative ideas for the country. And these old farts that are in power right now, they're just looking out for themselves.
Right.
And these horrible things happen. There's a big commotion. They do this acting and this role. Oh, we're gonna vote and this and that when the iron is hot. The minute the iron cools down, forget about it. Gun
Oh
control
yeah.
takes a back seat, and then comes the next massive shooting. The whole process starts over again, and the whole panel, and this and that. Then it cools down, right back to the end of the line. So it's a
Right.
farce. This is a farce, and people are dying. These
For sure.
fucking people, these fucking politicians, these assholes, these sewage rats, these dirty water sharks don't give a fuck about us. They don't
They
care
don't.
about us.
Yeah,
And
and that I
it
agree.
takes
I
them
agree.
10 fucking years, 5 to 10 years to make a fucking decision. Yo, there was this guy, he was accused of something. He was I forget what it was. I heard a program on Coast to Coast where this guy, he was introducing some cancer medication, and it's a whole complicated story, but he was accused by the FBI of a crime. I forget what the crime was. So they gave him like a plea bargain. If you plea bargain, you pay a fine, and maybe you get 6 months. We'll give you 6 months in jail, and it's all said and done. He said, no, I'm fighting this. Right? And that litigation, that case took 10 fucking years
Oh my
to litigate. 10 years. He won. He won against the United States, against the FBI. And, that left a bad taste in the FBI's mouth.
I
But
could imagine.
initially, after 10 fucking years, he won. Now, why does a case have to take 10 fucking years? Because these fucking judges, they are biased. They usually side with the authority. They don't listen. They don't listen to both sides of the story. When this whole shit with you're proven guilty,
Innocent?
you're proven innocent until
Or you're innocent
you're
until you're
you're
proven guilty.
innocent. Yeah, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. That's bullshit. And the biggest bullshit, go to the motor vehicles. Get a ticket. Go to the motor vehicles. You're guilty. You could tell the truth of what happened. The judge doesn't even, he listens to the cop, right? And the cop is reading off a little fucking notebook with microscopic writing. And all you hear is, you don't even understand what he's saying. I've been how do I say, I've been there.
What are you going to do to make sure?
I've been there when I'm sitting in front of the judge.
Oh, hold on. Your mic went. You got knocked out here. Hold on. Unmute you. You have to unmute yourself. You muted yourself. You see, there you go.
Hear me?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and the judge tells the cop what happened. He pulls out a little fucking pad, and this is what I hear. On the date of distribution, and then and according to my calibration, and that's what happened. The judge says to me, "What happened?" Now, let me hear your story. I'm like, Your Honor, it's very simple. I was going to make a left-hand turn. There was a homeless lady who took off her shoes, and she kept on taking off her shoes and putting her shoes on. She wasn't crossing the street. She just kept on putting on her shoes and her shoes off. Obviously, this lady had a mental problem. Either that or she was under the influence. But she saw me. She saw me trying to make that left-hand turn, and she waved me. She said, "Go, go, go." Because she was trying to decide, should I put the shoes on and cross the street, or should I cross the street barefoot? She was in that mode. Like, what
Okay.
should I do? What should I do? Barefoot or sneakers? Barefoot or sneakers? And she's looking at me, trying to make the turn with my signal. So she said, let me let this poor bastard turn while I make my decision. I turn, fucking cop comes behind me and tells me, "Oh, you're getting a ticket for not yielding to a pedestrian." I tell this to the judge. She was like, "I'm not buying it. Guilty. Next."
Wow.
I was like, wait, I wanted, she's like, "No, you're guilty. Yeah, I didn't believe the story. But yeah, you believe." I didn't even understand. I even said to the judge, "Can he repeat that?" She's like, "I don't want to be here all day." Repeat that. He said it again.
Oh my God.
What does that tell you? I was guilty from the gap.
Mm.
And this is the problem.
Yeah, I
This is the
mean
fucking
it's
problem.
crazy. It's crazy. A lot of these judges do have a quota. Like one of these judges with the ticket, they have a quota. They have to meet a certain amount of people, and they're human beings, and they just they want to just move along. Okay, John, next. I don't want to be here all day.
Oh,
But
let me tell you, I've been there. When the person wants to, like, when the judge like has like a, he probably has a bitch waiting for him in the hotel,
Mhm.
and he's like, "I'm about to get my groove on. I gotta get the fuck out of here." I've been there. It's like, okay, next case. You've been accused of running a red a stop sign. Do you want to pay a fine? $25, no points. Yeah, I'll do that. Next, not guilty. Just pay the fine. Next, what about you? You were accused for going 75 miles an hour on a 55 mile an hour. You just want to pay a fine and not have any. Yeah, I'll pay the fine. $50. Next, fucking shit was like and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just pay the fine. I come up, no, you're in the wrong courtroom. What's your name? You're not even on the list. That's courtroom number 3. I was like, son of a bitch.
Oh
They
my God.
step to room number 3, and I get this hard fucking bitch who is hell bent on getting everybody guilty. So the main problem with this whole gun control is the fact that these politicians, shit, I disconnected.
Out of my way, jerk ass!
Pow pow for disconnecting my microphone. I got so excited with my rant.
Okay.
Lucy might come out.
Yeah. You got to be careful. You don't want to excite Lucy. You know he doesn't like to be called that.
No, he doesn't like to be called that at all. You guys will be meeting him.
Pow! Pow!
So yeah, I mean, to finish with this topic, and well, actually, not to finish with this topic, because I want to dive a little deeper on this MK Ultra.
Well, I actually have this interesting video from our friend, Mr. Greg Reese, our friend from the Fediverse around there, out there in the universe, in the similar Alexandria interwebs. He had posted up this wonderful video, and you know how we like the way he breaks certain things down. So let me bring this up here. It's loading now. And it's titled "The True Evil Behind America's Mass School Shootings."
All right, let's go. Let's dive in.
All right, let's see here.
Perhaps the most evil display of deception and murder we are subjected to today are found in the new phenomenon of mass school shootings. Prior to 1999, they were practically non-existent, but today they have almost become predictable. And if you are able to examine the evidence objectively, without getting emotional, a pattern can be recognized. Former Naval Intelligence Officer turned whistleblower Milton William Cooper wrote in his book, Behold a Pale Horse, published in 1991, that the CIA...
That is a book that you are way above the curve in that one.
I read that book, and that book, it changed my whole perspective on life and on the government. And since we're on books, William B. Cooper, Behold a Pale Horse, and Ralph Epperson, The Unseen Hand. Must reads. Must reads.
Yes, definitely. Write that down. All right, let's continue.
CIA was using drugs and hypnosis on mental patients in order to persuade them to open fire on schoolyards, to inflame the anti-gun lobby, and do away with the Second Amendment. This probably sounds outlandishly evil, and it is, but the evidence is there. In the Columbine shootings of 1999, we are told that Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold acted alone. The town of Columbine, Colorado, was created in 1958 for families and employees of the military-industrial complex. Eric and Dylan were arrested a year prior to the shooting and were allegedly sodomized by the arresting officer, which may sound crazy, but a local officer admitted to raping informants, which is a known method of trauma-based mind control. After this January incident, Eric and Dylan were put into a juvenile diversion program and prescribed SSRI drugs known to cause homicidal ideation. During this time, Eric Harris was making online death threats and bomb threats. Local police were aware of this and drafted a search warrant affidavit, but it was ignored. Eric and Dylan threatened revenge for the January incident in their yearbook. They produced a school video about their plans and began openly collecting weapons. All of this while on probation, and nothing was done about it. During the shootings, the police stood outside the building and did nothing, while the sounds of automatic gunfire and explosions continued for hours. In official transcripts, there are over 100 witnesses who saw more than 2 shooters, and more than 40 witnesses who identified the same 2 men in their 30s, one balding and the other with a short military-style haircut. Several witnesses described the same adult male throwing a pipe bomb on the roof of the library, all of them certain that it wasn't Dylan or Eric. And all of this information pertaining to additional shooters has been redacted. The FBI agent in charge of the Columbine investigation had a son who recently attended the school, who shot a student film inside Columbine High 2 years before the shooting about a character wearing a trench coat shooting up the school. Dylan and Eric fantasized about hijacking an airplane and crashing it into a New York City skyscraper in 1999. Are these just strange coincidences or remnants of the Fed's MK Ultra program? An honest investigation into any of the mass school shootings following Columbine will have the same signatures, such as families involved in the military-industrial complex, prescribed SSRIs and other psychotropic drugs, psychological care provided by the state, and associations with law enforcement prior to the shootings. Just like we saw with the retired federal agent in regular communication with the Buffalo gunman in a private Discord chat room. And in the recent Texas school shooting, how is the perpetrator able to afford nearly $5,000 of weaponry? And why did the police stand down while children were slaughtered? We are still allowed to question these things, but for how long? This evil will never stop until the truth is exposed. And unfortunately, most of us are too emotional to see things as they really are. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
What do you think of
You
that?
see how they, he harkens back to 1999, just the way I said. You know, the most recent, our starting point was Columbine.
Right.
You know, that's what I think of immediately when I think of massive shooting. The first one that really affected me was Columbine. But you see what he's talking about?
MK
What
Ultra.
is that? Doesn't that sound like eerily familiar?
Well, it sound a lot of it sounds very familiar.
What famous shooting does it remind you of?
What just recently happened? Are you saying, or
No,
what
there's a
was
shooting that this MK Ultra, and exactly what he mentioned is kind of very eerily correlates to a very famous shooting. Come on, my little Padawan.
You mean the main shooting about the Manson shootings where they had him?
No. Come on, Pablo. I want you to put
there's a lot of information.
Put your
between
imaginary thinking cap on. Come on, let me see you put it on.
Okay.
Is it plugged in?
It's
Plug
plugged
it
in. All right.
Oh, it's blue. It's Bluetooth. Okay. What famous shooting? The password is, what famous shooting does that report remind you of? Okay, I'm gonna give you a clue. In that video, he says that the two kids, right, that were accused of the shooting, had help from two nefarious and two other men. One threw a pipe bomb on the roof, and one was balding. Blah blah blah. Right. What does that remind you of?
What that the I don't know. I don't know.
You said a word
the
there.
FBI? The FBI?
No, it has the word F in it.
F.
The John F. Kennedy shooting. The guy in the grassy knoll. You know, they blamed Lee Harvey Oswald, right? Former military.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
people said there was another shooter, the famous guy in the grassy knoll. There were multiple shooters, but the guy who took the brunt of the blame, the only one, was Lee Harvey Oswald.
That's
And
right.
they ended up killing him.
And he
By Jack
said,
Ruby. Jack Ruby was connected to the mob.
right.
So
But Lee Harvey Oswald said that he was innocent, that they were framing him. He said it.
absolutely. Absolutely. So doesn't that report sound eerily reminiscent to the JFK shooting? Almost the same setup, almost the same scenario. It sounds like
The Columbine
the
report.
the powers that be used the same recipe to do
But
this
that, yeah.
MK Ultra shit.
And that's what he's saying, And but that's what I'm gleaming. Like, I mean, I understand that the public shouldn't have access to you know certain weapons. I get it. I think there's a level of what you should and shouldn't be. I think if you are evaluated correctly, if the checks are there, right? I think it'll be. I mean, there's people out there. I mean, I did. You shot guns before, haven't you? In Florida, you
Once.
shot.
Yeah.
Was any of
I
those
shot.
automatic?
Yes.
Okay, so do you have any inclination of taking that out on another person just because you've had
Absolutely
access?
not. It
So
just
that's the
proved to
thing.
me
It's just.
by me using those weapons,
Mhm.
it proved to me that I should never own one. I found the lethality of these weapons, and they fucking scared me. As much as you see these shows, you see Arnold Schwarzenegger shooting, these incredible big weapons,
Right.
one with each hand. That's
Mhm.
incredibly hard to do.
No, I could imagine.
That's almost impossible to do
You have to be like
because these
ambidextrous
weapons
to
are
take it.
heavy. They're heavy, and the kickback it could virtually break a rib if you don't know what you're doing. So, with that said, I think that they're on to something with this MK Ultra, and now things, the way technology is, you could send some kind of frequency that it's like a Manchurian candidate. Can be doing. You could be like la la la, and
It's a
then
conspiracy, man.
absolutely, and I'm a conspiracy truther. I don't swallow all the fucking bullshit that you hear, on that I hear in the news, and I explore, I investigate, and when some things don't make sense, they just don't make sense. And the JFK shooting, to me, it don't make sense. The
No, it doesn't
fucking
make
magic
that.
bullet, come on now.
That doesn't
And
make any sense.
a lot of these shootings just do not make sense to me. Something's going
911,
on.
what is your emergency? I hear shots! Okay, ma'am, calm down. What kind of shots?
Yeah, I mean, I don't swallow this for a minute. There's something going on. Something in the marrow of my bones tells me something's going on. Something's going on.
Educated. I love the poorly educated.
So
yeah, something definitely is going
if
on.
you want
for
your
sure.
consciousness, your third eye to start, your spider sense to start tingling the way minds tingle, a good start is that book, Behold the Pale Horse.
And
This
you'll
guy, he
you'll
died.
unplug people.
They killed him for this book.
Yeah, and I heard that for a while that you couldn't find that book at all. It was off the shelves. and it
I made the
resurfaced
mistake.
recently.
Made the mistake of purchasing the book through Amazon in the
How
year
long ago?
1994. You were,
Diablo, Amazon existed in 94?
I believe they just were selling books at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, they were
94.
like either it was 94 or 96. Actually Google what when did Amazon start selling books? See what it says.
I'm looking it up right now. Let's see here. When was Amazon created? July 5th, 1994. Wow. Yeah, so you're right on the
So I
money.
remember because I used to listen. You know me, I was a radio nut. I'm still a radio nut.
And
And they
now
would
I'm the
say,
radio nut. I'm the family.
so I would always hear that Amazon has good deals on books.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, I used to go to Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, I still go to Barnes and Noble.
From Barnes and Noble, I bought a really good book called The Secret Teachings of All Ages by my God, what's this guy's name?
And I have that book too.
What's this guy's name? The Secret Teachings. It's a very fascinating. I have the paperback, you know, but the good copy is the hardcover copy with full color illustrations. Manly P. Hall is the
Yep,
guy's
Manly
name.
P. Hall. Yep.
By Manly P. Hall. And I bought that through Barnes and Noble. But then, you know, I kept hearing about Behold the Pale Horse by William B. Cooper. And I bought it through Amazon. And then I bought this Masonic book called, oh my God, how could I forget the name of this Masonic book? I remember the cover. It has two phoenixes on the cover. And I'm having the audience dangle. But I need to get, you know, let them know of this book. Masonic books. How could I forget this book? Because this book, I had to put it down because it was so.
You said it. What does it have on the cover?
It has like it's almost like a Masonic Bible of Freemasonry by Albert Pike. That's the guy's name.
Albert Pike?
Yeah.
Mason Bible?
Okay, I got him here. Let's see.
Morals and Dogma of the Ancient
Morals and Dogma. That's the book.
Morals and Dogma of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry.
Right.
First
That book
degrees.
is really seductive. Like this guy, even though he was a staunch racist and leader of the KKK, but you read his writings and they're hauntingly seductive. Like his writing, you know, it's all about dogma and beliefs and all this stuff. I had to put it down because I was like, it was getting me paranoid. But the reason I bring that up is that I bought these books off of Amazon, and then I started experiencing something weird. Like every time, at that time we had landlines. Every time I would pick up the phone, I would hear clicking, like click, 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 click. I'm
Hmm.
like, are these fucking people the powers that be? Because I bought these books. I also bought Ralph Epperson Unseen Hand through Amazon. And I believe that they started, it might be just paranoia, but I believe they were fucking tapping my line.
I
And
mean, it's possible. It could have been that one of those books were, flagged.
flagged. Yeah.
And what I hear
So
that the copy that's available now, they took out some pages. There's
they
certain things
redact.
that have been, yeah, there's certain things that if you read it now you wouldn't know, but there was more to the book, a few pages
Yeah,
more.
that's why you should go to like an old bookstore and or spread the message through the pipeline, because there's some people that have it. I
Yeah.
unfortunately I had the real copies, and I lost them because of that whole situation with my pod. But
Mm.
I had a lot of books that I could have created. I also bought an alchemy and witchcraft book, which was called The Golden Dawn. Another
Mm.
very seductive book, and it's all about the occult and magic. Because all these
Mm.
things are intertwined.
Yeah.
Conspiracies, magic, um, all these things. The people up top, they're very adept in these books. That's
Oh yeah, for
why I
sure.
I always tell people, you want to know who are who are the people moving the pawns and what they're capable of. Go on to YouTube and listen to Gilbert Gottfried, the aristocrats.
Mm.
And that dirty, most filthiest joke, most heinous, filthiest joke I have ever heard, it tells you what the people up top are capable of.
Yeah, and
So
the one of the things that this guy Alex Jones harps on all the time is that uh the movies, they imitate a lot. Movies and pop culture imitate a lot of the unseen hand. For example, like Equilibrium. A lot of what was done in Equilibrium is very, very eerily familiar. You have to take this vaccine that everyone's forced to inject themselves, and you can't have a dissenting thought, and you have to, emotions are shunned. You can't have any thought of or emotion or whatever, which is kind of eerily familiar in this day and age.
you know why they
Or
do that?
why?
Because they can. This is how they laugh at you. This is how
Mm,
they laugh at you. They're like, this is what we're doing. You don't know it. This is our esoteric secret. And they flaunt it in your face, and they test to see if you catch the little Easter eggs that they put in these
mm.
movies.
There's a lot,
And
like
if
there's a lot
you,
of movies that like you see them and they're like for example, V for Vendetta. The whole thing about V for Vendetta was, people were being oppressed and they needed a leader,
but
and
that's
and
that's
the
that's that's almost obvious that they will be involved in a movie like that. But you look at movies like The Manchurian Candidate,
mm.
this is almost art imitating life.
But
There's
what
other
I'm saying is
movies.
like when the V for Vendetta first came out, for example, we didn't think, at least I didn't watching it, never thought in my life that I would feel that way here in America. It was always like, oh, okay, that was, or even Black Mirror, for example. Like Black Mirror, a lot of it was like, okay, this is a little crazy, but this won't happen or whatever. But now you start to see that
You
this
know
stuff
why?
is
You know why
why
you thought that this was impossible?
why.
Because you hadn't swallowed the pill.
Mm.
You know, I swallowed the pill the minute I read Behold the Pale Horse. That shit woke something
Mm.
up in me. And I started like, you know, you probably would, as a kid, you probably be like, oh, here goes dad again in one of his rants. Oh, here he goes.
No,
And
actually, I never like. I
and
was, I
maybe
don't
you
know.
mentioned some of the things I said to your friends, and your friends might have told you your father's fucking nuts. But then when you started putting pieces together, you'd be like, oh shit. Oh my
Well,
God.
there was this one, oh man, there was this one documentary that I was watching. And I mean there's several, but there's a lot of things um that I've got, I guess that you passed on from learning about these things, is that you got to know, you got to search for the truth. That's one thing that we say here all the time. You got to actually look for it. You can't just take everything for face value. And the fact that I have that built in me takes me down that path where eventually I start to question, like, okay, why is people making everyone have a vaccine when you can't make everyone eat peanuts? Someone's gonna be allergic. Someone's gonna have problems. So can't make everyone do the same thing. It doesn't make any sense. Or if I got the sickness that you're afraid of and I survived, then I take a vaccine again? Like that to me is like, like that doesn't make any sense, any logic. The point of a vaccine is so that when I do encounter it, I survive. I survived it already. Why am I gonna get a vaccine? Doesn't make any sense. So like my mind, thinks of things like different, but I think another thing is that I've always been into like the conspiracies, and I've been into like things that a lot of people tend to not like the Anunnaki, for example, or aliens, and hearing about these things. While like I have friends and close family that they come to me for the conspiracy stuff, but then it's like, okay, this is a nice story, and they move on. But I come at it like, this is something that could be real, like something, like this is
Well, you
something that
mentioned the Anunnaki. For
right.
anybody listening to our audience, if you don't know what the Anunnaki is, you have to read two books. Zachariah Sitchin. Um, he talks about Planet Nibiru, the 10th planet. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have Eric Van Donovan. And he has I think his name is Eric Van Donovan. Check that out. Chariots of
Okay.
the Gods. I always get this guy's name wrong.
Chariots of the Gods. Hold on. Yeah, Eric Van Daniken. Yep. That's it.
Van
Chariots of
Doniken.
the Gods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chariots of the Gods. I mean, that's off of that you get a very popular show called Ancient Aliens.
Right.
But Ancient Aliens kind of like it takes a turn in one of the seasons to the ridiculous. I guess because they run out
Mm.
of content. But
Well, I
Chariots
don't know.
of the Gods
I
is a
like Ancient
very
Aliens.
good book. I like
I
it.
like
I
I like
still
what
watch it.
ancient. Yeah, I mean, I like what they like read between the lines, because a lot of it is basically the whole premise of the show is you look back in time, and obviously aliens exist. We left messages to ourselves that they existed. I mean, with all these gods and deities, with all these things that were flying around and whatever, you people at the time wrote it down to the best way that they can describe it. But now that we know that rockets exist, now that we know what a spaceship is, it's kind of obvious that they were that what they were saying was freaking spacecrafts were coming out of the sky and landing here, and they left things, they left messages, and people told these stories for eons and still do in some Hindu religions or all religions
Absolutely.
really. So it's
Google
like,
Zachariah.
I'm sorry, Zachariah Sitchin.
Yeah.
Okay. I have him here. Wikipedia, author of a number of books. You want to see what books he did? Is that
Yes.
let's see. Earth Chronicles, 12th Planet, Stairway
There
to
you go.
Heaven. Yeah, 12th Planet, Stairway to Heaven, The Wars of Gods and Men, Lost Realms, When Time Began, The Cosmic Code, and The End of Days. That's
Yeah, I
the Earth
believe it is
Chronicles.
the
Bond.
12th
That's
planet is where he dives into the Anunnaki and Nibiru and this planet that is hidden from our sights because it's hidden behind the sun. And he believes that we are a product of panspermia. We were transplanted here from planet Nibiru. Very interesting books. So the reason I bring that up is that you mentioned the Anunnaki, and for our listeners, they'll be like, "What the hell is he talking about? The Anunnaki?"
Well, the
Go and read.
Anunnaki are an ancient race of aliens, and it's believed that they are the founders of all religion. So all of our religion, most religions rather, like anything that goes in the Christianity line, like Judaism, Christians, and Muslims, they all funnel back to this creation period, the Adam and Eve period. And that Adam and Eve story goes back to the Anunnaki. And
Now the
the Adam and
Anunnaki
Eve,
they come from this planet Nibiru, right?
I believe so. But the Anunnaki, let me see. There was they came here. They were I believe from planet Nibiru. I'll look it up right now. Give you a good analysis. So they're Mesopotamian deities. Let me just pull it up here. This is according to Wikipedia here, and I'll pop this up on the screen. It says the Anunnaki, also transcribed Anunnaki, are a group of deities and of the ancient Sumerians, Akkadians, Assyrians, and Babylonians. In the earliest Sumerian writings about them, which come from post-Akkadian period, the Anunnaki are deities in the pantheon, descendants of An and Ki, the god of the heavens and the goddess of the earth, and their primary function was to decree the fates of humanity. Let's see here. The name Anunnaki is derived from the Sumerian god of the sky. The name is variously written as Anunnaki. Okay. The Anunnaki were believed to be the offspring of An and his consort, the earth goddess Ki. Samuel Noah Kramer identifies Ki as a Sumerian mother goddess Nurhasang, stating that they're originally the same figure. The oldest Anunnaki was Enlil, the god of air and the chief god of the Sumerian pantheon. The Sumerians believed that until Enlil was born, heaven and earth were inseparable. Then Enlil cleft heaven and earth in two and carried away the earth, while his father An carried away the sky. And it goes. It's a big. This is a brief synopsis of what they are. They're deities, but their story is very familiar to the alien story that we tell each other. Let me see here. They came from. Let me see if they came from Nibiru. Let's see if that's what they say.
I think this Nibiru was something that was written by Zechariah Sitchin, and the book that dives into this is
Here it
called.
goes. Yeah, the 12th planet, Zechariah Sitchin, claimed that Anunnaki were actually an advanced humanoid extraterrestrial species from the undiscovered planet Nibiru, who came to Earth around 500,000 years ago and constructed a base of operations in order to mine gold after discovering the planet was rich in precious metal. According to Sitchin, the Anunnaki hybridized their species and the Homo erectus via in vitro fertilization in order to create humans as slave species of miners. Sitchin claimed that the Anunnaki were forced to temporarily leave Earth's surface and orbit the planet when the Antarctic glaciers melted, causing the Great Flood, which also destroyed the Anunnaki's bases on Earth. These had to be rebuilt, and the Anunnaki, needing more humans to help in this massive effort, taught mankind agriculture. And this is based on ancient Sumerian texts. It says
If you
here,
want to
one of
read about this, the book is The Lost Book of Enki. The Lost Book of Enki by Zechariah Sitchin.
Yeah, it's a very fascinating story. But those are things that I grew up with. You know, these are things that I was interested in. There were all kinds of like because I was the paranormal experience was always around. How old is the paranormal experience? Since when? When did it start?
Since Paranormal Experience, I believe, started in 1995, 96, right about the same time that the X-Files was in its heyday.
So there you go. This is a long time coming. From 96 till now, there's been a little bit of
And
a dead
let me
spot.
let the audience know I am the original creator of the paranormal experience. All those hacks on YouTube and
Exactly.
other platforms, I have the patent. I have the copyright
Trademark.
for the
Yes.
trademark for the paranormal experience, because I was
Correct.
onto it way before Ancient Aliens, way before this became something of the mainstream.
Precisely, which is why, I've been known as the conspiracy man. I never thought of you as a loon that some people think of me now, but
Oh
I always
yeah,
thought it to be fascinating, and it
I get
seems
that all
like
the
right
time.
there, one thing that the ancient aliens in particular made a comment that the Bible, if you just look at the Bible itself and you replace every angel with alien, it's a different story altogether. And if you read
Absolutely.
about it, if you read through it, you start to realize, wait a minute, this is a story about alien civilizations coming to Earth and interacting with humans and helping us, or helping or hurting us, depending if you're a demon or an angel. You can help us or you can hurt us, but you're all coming from the sky. Now,
I also am a
anything.
firm believer that once you are responsive to this information, certain things are available to you. For example, your mother. Unfortunately for her, she married me, and this is all I've talked about since the birth of our marriage. And now her brain is awake, so now she is responsive. I just sent you a video on your phone, and she saw this the other day. I don't know if you can post it on
on
the podcast.
Yeah, I can. 1 second here. Just need to.
And these are things that happen to us since we're awake to it. We see stuff that the common person just be like, oh, they see it and they just keep, they don't pay no mind. But now, since, I hate to use the term woke, but we're aware.
Unplugged. We're unplugged.
Yeah,
from the Matrix.
we're unplugged. Yeah, there you go. So I'm more receptive to paranormal experiences. But the reason I got into this is I saw something, when I was a kid that I could not explain, and I was a victim of the paranormal. And at the same time, when in our 5th year of marriage, we saw something in Kisena Park, where we used to live by Kisena. We saw something there that we could not explain. And this video that I sent you is a little reminiscent of that sighting of that. I believe this was 1997. We saw this.
Okay, so 1 second here. Let's see. It says, hold on, it's processing this video apparently.
By the way, I am broadcasting from Narnia in Western Mass. I have a problem. Maybe my audience can send us a message or comment on it. I got a freaking fox that is killing rabbits in my property. I found another dead rabbit.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
another one.
Yeah, so this guy's either he's bringing the killing into my property or he's hunting on my property. So, I mean, I don't mind foxes, but what I did, I spread pepper flakes all over the backyard, all over the property.
Okay.
To see if this, I'm hoping, because once I spread it, I had to get away from there. My nostrils were burning. Hopefully that does the same thing to that fox. Rabbit, go to another property, for Christ's sake. I don't want to find legs and fur.
Yeah, I mean, geez.
If anybody knows how to get rid of these guys, let me know.
So I'm having a little bit of a. It says it's processing because I put it into my drive here so that we can view it, but it's not allowing me to view it. It says it's processing to check back later. So I don't know. It looks like Google processes the videos here, but I do have the video here, and I can play a little bit of the audio.
There's like these two flashing red things there in the sky. Can you see it? You see it?
Oh shit!
It's just like hovering over one house. You see it? It's going up and down, up and down. That's weird. Can you see it? Like these red things. I don't know. It's funny how you can't.
That's crazy because I've seen that before. I've seen that. So for those that are
see how it has like multicolors? It's not an airplane.
No,
It's not a helicopter.
they're like orbs of light. They're like 3 balls of light.
Yeah.
No, I've seen something like that. I was with my wife, and we just got home, and we were looking. I was like, look at that, and it's a ball, right? And it's like this ball of light. It was going down, 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 like almost looking like it's gonna touch the houses, like in the distance, like houses far in the horizon. It's going down, 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 and then it shoots up into the sky, and you don't
But
see it
they're the
anymore.
size, you see them the size of stars.
Right,
Which
right
is
in the
weird.
sky,
So
in
that
the
means
sky, they
it's
look like
very high up there. It's
yeah,
not like a drone or something.
it's very
This is
very
up in
odd.
space.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think the aliens are coming. The aliens are coming, and they could
They're
be in
here. They're here.
well, yeah. If you look at what this guy Jeremy Corbell keeps saying, they already admitted UFOs exist, so they're here. They're here.
They're here.
But what I'm saying is that I think the reveal might be that it's us all along. Like it's humans all along. Like we're all expecting, gray aliens or whatever. But I feel like when the spaceship lands and it's us. It's another human being. It's another version of humans that we've long forgotten. Somewhere like the Atlanteans or these ancient race of human beings, whoever built the pyramids, this pharaoh race of whoever built whatever, still, these ancient things that exist in today that we still marvel at. That's us somehow or another. That's us, and we
Well,
just
if that harkens to Zachariah Sitchin's explanation that we were hybridized, I think the Atlanteans were Anunnaki, and they look
it's
like
possible.
us. They
Yeah,
look
it's
like us,
possible.
but at the same time, I believe that there's several species coming to this planet. There's a book by a drunken maniac. His name was Riley Martin. He was made famous by Howard Stern. I bought his book, and his book, I mean, Howard Stern, called him a kook, a lie, a hoaxer, or whatever. But this book, The Coming of Tan, a very intriguing book. If you
The
guys can
Coming of
get your
Tan.
hands on it, The Coming of Tan by Riley Martin. And it's his explanation and his encounters where with these beings. This came out in the early, I believe this came out in the mid 90s when Riley Martin was on the scene. And now a lot of the stuff we're seeing on the Discovery Channel, on all paranormal venues, kind of harken back to what Riley Martin wrote. And I talked to the publisher personally. I reached out to him, and he told me an amazing thing about this guy, Riley Martin. God rest his soul, because he passed away. But this guy showed up on his doorstep and told the publisher, "I got a book inside me. Would you publish it?" And he goes, "Explain to me the book." He goes, "I'm not gonna explain it. I could, if you let me in, I could write exactly. I could write down this book verbatim." So this guy took a chance. He let him in, and he lasted in his house like for 2 weeks, typing away like a madman. And After 2 weeks, he read the manuscript, and this thing was flawless. Not a typo in sight. It didn't have to be edited at all. And he published
Wow.
an unedited version. And to me, even though Howard Stern like exposed them to be a drunk and a fake, there's something about him that I don't know, like rings true to me. And that book is fascinating. And the things that are common in UFO talk now, he talked about it way back when it wasn't trendy. Like he talks
Mm,
about the reptilians, he talks about the insectilians, he talks about intelligent octopi,
interesting.
about the
Mm.
grays.
And how did
He
he
went
get this
down
information?
because he says he was abducted by aliens, and he went to the to this planet where he met the leader, Tan, and he called him Tan, but his real name was uh Qui-Gon Tanjin,
Hmm.
and this guy took him all over the universe, and he encountered all these hybridized species. He encountered, and I still have his original drawings because the publisher sent me his original drawings. Remember I showed them to
Wow.
you?
Yeah, I think I do remember that. Yeah, I
So
didn't know that
even
was
though
him.
Howard, made him out to be like a fraud,
Hmm.
I just think that this guy knew something, and he wrote about it verbatim, which is hard to do. Me being a writer, it's hard to write a manuscript just out of your mind without one typo, and every word and every bit of grammar is perfect. So
Mm.
I don't know. This guy's book is very intriguing, and I recommend anybody to read it. It's a terrific read, by the way. Very entertaining. Very entertaining. This guy, Qui-Gon Tanjin, he's what we consider the Greys, and he's like the benevolent.
It says here, originally written in 1990, The Coming of Tan is an incredible account of the many things learned and experienced by a poor sharecropper's kid that took his first trip to the Bivian mothership in 1950.
Biavian is
Biavian.
Biavian.
Mothership in 1953. Riley's second trip, also he went there a couple times.
Oh, he went several times.
Riley's second trip was when he was 18. It was on this trip that they placed a strange looking headset on him. Then, in a matter of seconds, downloaded into his brain beautiful symbols by the thousands. While Riley slept, they downloaded the history of humanity, alien insights, and amassed knowledge into his memory. Riley made friends with these aliens and shares his many conversations and experiences through this book. Wow.
Very
Huh.
interesting book. And you could take it as you could read it as like a sci-fi book,
Mm-hmm.
or you could read it for what it is, an actual account
And you
of
can
Riley
get it
Martin.
from RileyMartin.com. And he has a store, the official Riley Martin store.
Oh, it's funny
And there it
because
goes.
the cover changed. The original
Mm.
cover has the being of Qui-Gon Tanjin. See if you find another picture of the coming of Tan. Images. There it goes. The one with the blue.
This one?
No, the next to it.
This one?
Right below it.
This one?
Yeah, that's the original cover right there.
I'm assuming he drew that.
Yeah. It has all his original drawings in it.
Wow. So
Very fascinating book.
What is he drawing here? What is this? A map to where it was?
Yeah, because he went to the planet that was inhabited by Biavians, and the name of the planet is called Biavia.
Qui-Gon? Is that like that? Qui-Gon? Coming to town.
It's Qui-Gon Tanjin One.
Tanjin One.
No, start from erase it, and I'll tell you how to spell it.
Like that? Qui-Gon.
Yeah, there it goes. Hit images. And there you should see an image of Tan. Keep scrolling down.
Maybe I'm spelling it wrong.
Yeah, no, yeah, you had the no, it's coming of no, but type in. Oh, we'll go down. I saw something.
Oh,
right there. See that image right there?
This one?
Yeah. That's. I think that's Qui-Gon Tanjin One. You just passed him. He's on top.
This one?
Keep going. No, keep going. Right there. Yeah. That's how he looked like.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But this looks like this is not a Riley drawing. It looks like the publisher must have gotten a better artist to render his images. On our next podcast, I'll have his drawings that I have.
No, it looks like these are.
There he goes. There he goes. That's Qui-Gon right there.
This?
You see next to the red planet? Go up.
This? Oh, okay. This one.
Yeah,
This
next to it. Yeah, that's Qui-Gon.
Oh, look,
This
here we
is
go. Tanjin One. There. That's how you.
That's his original. There he goes right there. Right there. Click on it. See if you can get a bigger view of him. Yeah, there he goes. That's Riley's drawings. And I know
So that's how
everybody.
he looked like.
Yeah, everybody. This is what he says that this is what we consider the grays.
Interesting. And it's funny that his name is Qui-Gon Taj. Was it? Taj.
Yeah, Oquan. Yeah, Tanjin One.
Tanjin One. That sounds very Chinese.
Oddly
enough. That's very
exactly.
Very, very interesting. And who's behind the whole COVID nonsense and all the crazy stuff? You know, I don't know. Maybe there's a connection, maybe not. But it seems like we've stumbled our way into
It's a conspiracy, man.
the conspiracy section. So of the podcast, we are
what you got for us today?
And 30 minutes in. So I got first off, I got the original report of the ABC News Radio report of the Roswell UFO crash. So let's
Listen to this, folks. This is interesting.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucer. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brizell was the man who discovered the saucer. Colonel William Blanchard of the Roswell Air Base refuses to give details of what the flying disc looks like. In Fort Worth, Texas, where the object was first sent, Brigadier General Roger Ramey says that it is being shipped by air to the AAF Research Center at Wright Field, Ohio. A few moments ago, I talked to officials at Wright Field, and they declared that they expect the so-called flying saucer to be delivered there, but that it hasn't arrived as yet. In the meantime, General Ramey describes the object as being of flimsy construction, almost like a box type. He says that it was so battered that he was unable to determine whether it had a disc form, and he does not indicate its size. Ramey says that so far as can be determined, no one saw the object in the air, and he describes it as being made of some sort of tinfoil. Other Army officials say that further information indicates that the object had a diameter of about 20 to 25 feet, and that nothing in the apparent construction indicated any capacity for speed, and that there was no evidence of a power plant. The disc also appeared too flimsy to carry a man. Now, back to Taylor Grant in New York. There was important activity within the UN Security Council today.
Fascinating, right?
Gives you a glimpse back in the days what it was like. Very fascinating. A
And
tinfoil.
Yeah, it's called memory metal. And what this tinfoil metal was, it was a metal that had a lot of strange properties. You would crunch it up in your hand and you would let it go. It would go right back to its original form.
Wow.
You could fold it, crease it, keep it under a heavy object, and you would take it out and it would unfold right back to its original form. Another thing it would do, it would levitate on its own.
Levitate. Wow.
It would levitate. They try to cut it with a knife, it wouldn't pierce. They tried to scratch it, it wouldn't scratch.
Wow.
And this thing was scattered all throughout a field. And that audio you heard, they kind of redacted it. You kind of heard the original and mixed in with later reports. But the original, they make no mention that the aircraft could not support passengers. It just says that they found this object on the field, and many people was playing with this memory metal. Had to reverse it, and
hold on, you broke up there for a second. Can you say that again?
They tried to reverse engineer it, and the closest that they've come to is this metal called graphene, which is considered one of the hardest man-made materials on the planet.
That's interesting. So now that's
go ahead.
That's crazy. that reminds me a lot of like the Batman material that could easily get rigid. That they use for his cape.
Now, one question that people ask, like if these people traverse the universe, how in the hell did they crash? Now, during listening, and as I was listening to the 70th anniversary of Roswell, they had experts on, and it turns out that when the craft appeared, it looks like there was a thunder storm brewing, and people heard a lightning bolt, and then they heard a huge explosion, and then people saw a lightning bolt, then they heard a huge explosion, and then came the thunder. So it looks like the craft was hit by lightning, and this is why they crashed. It actually might have blown up in midair.
And the people that found the aircraft, who did it belong to? Was that Betty and Barney Hill?
I believe so.
Let's see.
And they didn't contact they contacted the authorities, but the authorities didn't get there, if my memory serves me right, until like 10 days later after the event.
Let's see. No, so Betty and Barney Hill was an abduction story.
Oh, okay. So I forget the rancher's name.
The UFO in Roswell. William Brazel was his name.
Was the owner of the ranch?
Yeah. Was a normal day's work on the J.B. Foster Ranch in Lincoln County, New Mexico. So William Brazel was a person that found it. Huh.
Okay.
No, I was
from what I hear, that even the kids, they were like kids like living on that ranch. They were playing with this memory metal.
Wow.
And they have, ever since that crash, the authorities took it, and they've been trying to reverse engineer it ever since. Unsuccessfully, but they have tried.
Well, check this out. I stumbled into this. It says here, Roswell, this is livescience.com. It says Roswell UFO crash. What is the truth behind the flying saucer incident? It says the spaceship looks like a flying saucer in Roswell. Thousands of motorists drive past it every day, and hundreds of people go inside. It's the North Main Street in southeastern New Mexico City. Its metal skin gleaming as it basks in the glow of the sun. Its neon lighting burns into the retinas of those who view it throughout the evening, and it's rather hard not to admire. After all, aside from its striking looks, who doesn't crave a burger every now and again? That's right. The spacecraft is one of the city's McDonald's restaurant. Huh. So the McDonald's has a flying saucer in Roswell, apparently. So why the building shaped that way? It's not far from the site of the mysterious incident that took place in 1947, the day when a rancher discovered the debris scattered around his sheep pasture, prompting speculation that an unidentified flying object or UFO had crashed there. In June or possibly early July 1947, William Brazel woke up before a normal day's work on the J.B. Foster Ranch in Lincoln County, New Mexico, north of Roswell.
J.B. Foster. That's his name.
When he made a shocking discovery. Well, he was working on the J.B. Foster Ranch, so I guess the J.B. Foster owned the ranch, but William Brazel was the person that found it. He He found on the ranch a large area of bright wreckage made up of rubber strips, tinfoil, and rather tough paper and sticks. Brazel said in an article published on July 8th, 1947. Brazel hadn't heard of flying saucers, at least not yet. Sightings, however, were coming in thick and fast around that time. Let's see if they get to the meat of this story here. Flying saucer conspiracy. It says other things were happening in the world at the time, notably sci-fi films, Star Wars, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind had just been released. Studies have suggested that sightings and belief in UFO rise when popular films and TV shows make their debut. The Times reported in 2009. Nevertheless, testimonies about that day in 1947 were forthcoming, and they continued to come for many years. I like how they just dismiss, oh yeah, their movies could have influenced them.
No, and the guy found sticks and tinfoil. That's not what he found.
And it says, according to the U.S. Air Force, the weather balloon story was not true, but it wasn't to hide the fact that the little green men had visited Earth. The wreckage was actually that of a classified project that flew microphones on a high altitude balloons to pick up sound waves generated by Soviet atomic bomb tests, called Project Mogul. It was said to have run between 1947 and this feels like a cover-up, a cover-up of what it was.
Yeah, and then they say how.
Thanks a lot, science. LiveScience.com.
Yeah,
for.
And they don't mention that they found the bodies of these aliens,
right?
And that the government swooped them away.
That supposedly it's Project Mogul flying microphones on high altitude balloons.
Okay.
Okay. So then all of a sudden we get this UFO saucer shaped looking thing that no one seems to let go since that moment. I really
doubt. No, that has cover up all over it.
Wrong. That sounds like a conspiracy, like what is it? A spook, a spy kind of misinformation, trying to get us into
to derail you.
Yeah. Another conspiracy report that I happen to find here. I think you might like this one. Called "The Aliens Among Us." Also sponsored by the infamous Alex Jones Network, the head of conspiracies, all kinds of stuff here. But this is pretty interesting.
If your parents don't love and accept you for who you are this Christmas, them. I'm your parents now.
With all of the inhumane state-sponsored sexualization of America's children.
This Amaze website really normalizes porn.
The real drivers behind this are the Planned Parenthood Action Fund.
Yes.
Tammy Murphy worked closely with Advocates for Youth. So they found a way to connect with kids with what they're used to doing, playing on their devices and watching little cartoons. But they've taken away what the truth is about pornography, which they're being ripened for grooming for sexual abuse by adults.
The war on basic fundamental human rights.
Vaccine passports or digital ID wallets or whatever name they call it. In Italy, it's the green passport. We have new names and they keep morphing them down to market it. If it steps into place with an all-digital financial system, including CBDCs, they will convert our home, our car, and our communities into digital concentration camps. And I don't use that term lightly. At that moment, there will be no hope of building anything. We will have entered into a slavery system in which a handful of the most powerful people in the world can strip you and I of our assets, of our children.
Did you just read that? Going back, it says around 6,000 people in Sweden have so far had a chip inserted in their hands.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Voluntarily, mind you.
Oh my God. Let's continue.
Our assets of our children and control literally every aspect of our life, where we go, what we read, what we say, and what we eat. We have 1, maybe 2 years to stop it.
And the propaganda deluge.
We are not fake news. We are real news.
Much of the dossier has been corroborated. Some rioters were planning to murder lawmakers.
There is no evidence of any wrongdoing by either Joe or Hunter Biden.
The biggest terror threat in this country comes from radicals on the far right, primarily white men.
The divide between humanity and a seemingly alien dictatorship grows with each passing day. Things have gone so far left that it isn't surprising that ufologists are beginning to claim that our government has been infiltrated by hybrid aliens.
I have been reliably informed by a Washington source that there is a hybridization program in process. A group of aliens plan to produce hybrids, combination of human beings and their own beings. If what I've learned is true, there is an intention on the part of these hybridizing species to take over the planet. The aliens have apparently created a hybridized species so that they can survive much better on the surface of this planet than hunkered down in their alien bases.
So, Tim, is it possible that there are hybrids walking down the streets of this town today?
Definitely.
People are abducted.
What do you think of that? That they're hybrid aliens walking around?
It's a stretch, but I don't put it past them.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that claim it, so there must be some grain of truth in there.
Many times, sometimes hundreds of times if they're old enough. And they might remember 2 or 3 instances. But this phenomenon is clandestine. It is secret. And the way in which you start secrecy is by making sure that the abductee does not remember what happened to them.
Ufology specialist Dr. David Jacobs, a professor of history at Temple University and an author, has written several books on the subject of alien abductions, interviewing alleged survivors to gather and compare different testimony, which he claims forms a terrifying conclusion. He claims aliens are not only abducting humans, but are using mind control to integrate themselves into Earth's civilization and its governments, and an alien species is preparing to take over the Earth. Recently, the Pentagon released a trove of UFO-related documents due to a FOIA request. A common thread among the documents were abductees with burns, heart problems, apparent abductions, and unaccounted-for pregnancies. Injuries were also reported related to electromagnetic radiation due to energy-related propulsion systems. Are these reports legitimate, or is this the next stage in a massive global psyop to herd humanity into the New World Order?
Yes, there are government programs declassified to project Jesus with holograms, Buddha, Muhammad. And that was all declassified in 1994.
And if you have a global agenda for global control, then what you need to, in the end,
is Osama bin Laden with green skin.
You need a global problem through which you can offer a global solution. That's what you want.
John Brown reporting.
So what do you think of that as a conspiracy story to go down?
David Icke has been talking about this a long time. David Icke says that there are reptilians among us, and they have infiltrated our politics. And you could see, like, there's a lot of things, like, I don't know if you have, well, you could see even celebrities, like, going back, to our topic, which is why I did that that cover.
Which, if you're on a Podcast 2.0 app, you'll see the cover.
You see that like for example, like celebrities talking and they're doing their thing, and all of a sudden they're like, and then they go back. Have you noticed that? Have you
No, I
seen
have
those
seen a
things?
few. I have seen a few of those, and yeah, they'll be, talking one moment and they freeze,
They freeze
and then
like,
they get back. Yeah, I've
and
seen
then they
that.
go back. Yeah, so there's something going on. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
one of the things that you the powers that be, constantly how they denounce, these conspiracies is how can we are we are we are humans, and humans cannot keep a secret. Like, how can this secret been perpetuating for decades without a leak? Hello, there's people been leaking it for a long time, but we just denounce it.
right.
You
That's so
understand?
true. Yeah, people are saying these things for a long time, but they just, they don't
Like
believe
Bob
it.
Lazar, he didn't keep
Exactly.
the secret, but now he's just a bitter dude that, making up shit. And Bob
Right.
Lazar he's kind of compelling.
Kind of very compelling to the point where they scratched where he went to work, they scratched where he went to school, they scratched his
Like
whole life.
they did like that movie, The Net, where they just erased his whole past.
Right. And then, you know, you ask these people, did he work there? And they're like, yeah, of course he worked there. People that still went to that school, or people that remember him working at, at Los Alamos Labs, all these places claim that he was never there. But, obvious that he was part of something because he was in the paper for driving around in a jet Honda, so I mean,
And a jet bike.
and a jet bike, right? That's right. So I mean, obviously this guy is smart. He enough to build something like that. And for him to say, put his career, and then he claims that he brought people to the site where they were doing testing, and they saw the UFO. They saw it go up and do its thing, and like it was on clockwork. It was him bringing those people up there that made them, be more clandestine, because now they're like, people aren't aware of what they're up to. Now they got to be a little bit more, and I think that's when they went underwater. That's where a lot of these UFO accounts are now being told are somewhere in the ocean, that they went underwater somewhere. So I don't know. It's a crazy time to be alive, and I feel like this.
Oh, and it's gonna get crazier and crazier as we go along.
Yep.
Now we gotta deal. I just heard that, you know, COVID is upticking like crazy.
Mm.
You know, my sister just got COVID. Her whole family got COVID.
And speaking of COVID, being that you bring that up, there's some documents being released. Pfizer has been wanting to, put the kibosh and them releasing the what do you call it, the trial documents of everything that happened in the medical trial. They wanted to push it for 75 years, but eventually, the judges ruled that they had to release it. Well, turns out that there's a lot of people now that are having myocarditis, are having strokes, are having there's a huge uptick, and it turns out that it is a side effect of the Pfizer vaccine, the mRNA vaccine, and the Pfizer now, like, all these documents are out in the open, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's saying anything, but apparently a lot of
and
people are dying because of the shot.
COVID is not people are under the misconception that COVID is done. It's gone. This shit is coming back. It's coming backing
they're
up.
ramping up for sure.
And now we got to deal with fucking monkeypox, for Christ's sake.
Oh, that was another thing that came in our downtime that came through with this whole monkeypox. Apparently, it affects gays the most.
Oh, they've said that?
Yeah, they said that it affects gays the most. That they're really harping on that, and it's very interesting. It's almost the new HIV, the way they're describing this monkeypox.
And how do they say it gets transmitted?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Let me look it up here.
Why would monkeypox affect gays?
Let's see here.
That's strange. Gay men or gay men and women?
Apparently, gay men. Pox. Gay men.
Because I thought this disease was transmitted like the way chicken pox.
I would have assumed the same thing, but apparently not. Let me go.
The CDC expects to receive additional samples today from possible monkeypox cases across the country. The agency saying it has confirmed one case in Massachusetts. There are other suspected infections in New York City, Florida, Utah, and Washington State. Monkeypox is a rare but potentially serious viral illness usually found in West and Central Africa. The World Health Organization has now identified around 200 confirmed or suspected monkeypox cases in 12 Western countries. Common symptoms include fever, aches, and rashes all over the body. The CDC says monkeypox likely spreads between humans through large respiratory droplets that only travel up to a few feet, requiring prolonged face-to-face contact. It can also spread through bodily fluids, lesions, and contaminated clothes or bedding. Dr. Kurt Zasky had monkeypox in 2003 during the first U.S. outbreak. The veterinarian says he came into contact with an infected prairie dog.
Well, I probably was sick for about 5 days, and within about 2 days of antibiotic, I started feeling quite well.
Right now, there are 2 vaccines available. One is specifically for monkeypox, the other an older vaccine for smallpox. The CDC is releasing some vaccines from the national stockpile.
For the general public, this is not something of grave concern.
An advisor to the WHO telling the Associated Press the leading theory to explain the current spread of the disease appears to be transmission among gay and bisexual men at 2 raves held in Spain and Belgium.
So I don't understand, because they just said that bodily fluids, respiratory droplets, and close proximity is what gets you infected with it. How they make the leap from that to gay and bisexual men?
Because of what they're saying is that bodily fluid, the exchange of bodily fluids, and
it says here,
but why gays?
But that's what I'm saying. It says between humans through large respiratory droplets only travel a few feet, and then body fluids. Let's see here,
and contaminated clothes or bedding.
Contaminated clothing or bedding is how it spreads.
Okay, so
bodily
if it's
fluids, lesions, contaminated clothing or bedding.
By that explanation, everybody should be susceptible to it, because you kiss your girl, you kiss your wife,
right?
Why is it targeting bisexual?
Had monkeypox. He came in specifically some
great
theory to explain the current spread of the disease appears to be transmission among gay and bisexual men at 2 raves held in Spain and Belgium. The CDC is now urging the LGBT community to be on alert. Still, public health experts stress anyone can get it, regardless of sexual orientation. The company that makes the specific monkeypox vaccine says the U.S. currently has access to 1.4 million doses today.
All right, Gabe, thank
So yeah, they're saying if you're gay and bisexual, you're more likely to get it somehow. That's the new
So
thing.
with that said, I would find out what company produces this monkeypox vaccine and dump a whole bunch of money in, because that's
Let's
gonna
find
be the
out.
next fucking thing.
Let's see. A little insider trading for you guys. Let's see. Moderna. What are the odds?
What are the odds?
Oh, there you go.
There's Fauci all over again.
Yep.
Fauci can secure his job for another 10 years, even though he says he's quitting after his tenure. I think he's quitting in 2024, I think is his last. Yeah, he's plans to walk out. But now with this monkeypox shit, if this shit blows up, which God, please don't let this thing get like COVID. Because COVID, a lot of people died. But from what I see, what monkeypox does, that shit is scary.
Yeah.
And my Lord, we don't want to go through this shit again. And you know what? Another reason to push vaccines. God knows what they want to pump into us now.
Well, if you go based on what this guy, Mr. Bill Gates, and what he's afraid of, it seems that he doesn't care much about these little events. He's more worried about terrorism, some kind of like release of some kind of viral terrorism, that somebody could release something intentionally against us, and that's what he's been harping on for quite some time. Actually, I think I have a video here.
Well, COVID was bioterrorism. That was released by the Chinese
from a lab. Yeah,
from a lab. I mean, they are definitely trying to push this under the rug. This shit didn't come from bats. This shit was released by a lab. If you believe that this shit came from bats, your head is up your ass.
Far in there, very far in there.
Far in there. And you know what? I just had a conversation with I gave again, people, I'm an Uber driver, so I gave a ride to a young doctor in her mid-20s, and my God, this woman is so fucking brainwashed that I just agreed with everything she had to say. I just yeah, you're right.
That's
You're
the
right.
only way you can have a conversation with those kinds of people.
And then I said, "Oh, I listened to Joe Rogan." She was like, "That is the last person you should be listening to.
Oh my God,
that is the king of misinformation." Like,
oh my God, unbelievable. Meanwhile, he has experts on his podcast, and
yeah, this poor girl. She sounded very bright and brilliant. She loves everything that she's doing as far as her medical career.
Oh no, I mean those people that have 4-year degrees, bachelors or masters, or they're very brainwashed. Because I have one of my best men. He's got a 4-year degree. He's a very smart man, but he would say things to me that are just puzzling. Things that just like I would tell him, the inventor of the mRNA vaccine, Dr. Robert Malone, he has warnings about the vaccine, blah, 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 blah. He's like, that guy's a kook. Oh, I don't trust him. And then he'll look up whatever, and you see CNN says, that Robert Malone is a crazy guy. Oh, don't believe him. So I tell him, okay, look up Peter McCullough.
He believes in the Caca News Network.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh Lord.
So I told him about Peter McCullough, that he's an acclaimed doctor, who nobody's written more what do you call it, like stuff in the medical journal than this guy, Mr. Peter McCullough, especially with regards to his field in cardiology. And he is saying that he has some issues with the vaccine based on myocarditis and all that stuff. I bring that guy up to my best man, and he's like, "Oh, that guy's a lunatic. Don't believe him. He's a far right, conspiracy theorist. Blah 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 blah." And I'm like, if it just doesn't fit your narrative, then, oh, he's a kook. Oh, he's a crazy. Oh, just believe whatever the CDC and the FDA tell you. And it's just like,
Well,
no.
This is my fucking problem with these people. Look, I'm not saying that what I believe is what you should believe.
Nobody's saying that. No. Do your own research for sure.
Do your own research. There are things on both sides of the fence that I disagree with and I agree with. I even agree with some things that Brandon talks about. As batshit crazy as he is, right there you should put in Kamala Harris cackle.
Okay, hold on. I got you.
All right, let's replay that. All right, let's do it. Let's do it from the beginning. Let's do it as batshit crazy and as I think he is. I even
judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness.
Get it right, Nick. Get it right, my homie.
Come on, man.
No, I like it when he whispers. Come on, man.
Come on, man. Oh man.
Man, this is a strange world. Well, we have reached the 3-hour mark.
Yes, we have.
Anything lighthearted, funny?
Actually, let me see here. I do have some funny random stuff here.
If there's one thing that makes me laugh is Kuliki Taka with Putin and Biden.
Kuliki Taka with Putin and Biden. I have not seen that one.
Yes, you have. Kuliki Taka, the video I sent you.
With Biden. No, I don't think I saw that one. Did you send it
to you? Yeah.
Let me see.
Biden and Putin. Let me see if I could have the worst day in my life. I just got to go back to Kuliki Taka.
I'm looking it up now. Let's see.
Oh, Machucala, not Kuliki Taka, es Machucala.
Kuriquita, Catín, Kuriquita, Cata, Kuriquita, Catín, Kuriquita.
Oh, that's a good one.
That makes my day every single time.
What do I have here? Sorry. That's a good one.
I could
That's
have the worst day. I'm like, it's Kulikitaka time, and you're seeing Biden go.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And if that doesn't do it, I just look up Biden gaffes, a little 30-second clip, and I almost fucking soil myself.
Biden gaps. That's funny. I had a bunch of stuff here that we didn't get to today, but we'll catch on other episodes. But have you heard of Kevin Samuels?
No, I haven't.
Well, he just recently passed away, unfortunately. But you're gonna get to know Kevin Samuels today. This guy is very honest, brutal honest. So
What is he, a
does
comedian?
Like this. No, so what he does is, what he used to do when he was alive, is like consult with women. Like he had like a dating, like a dating podcast that people will call in, and he will, tell them like this. Look, this is why you're not finding a husband. You need to do this. You need to do that. Kind of like self-improvement, self-help. But he's brutal honest. So
he's like a Dr. Ruth of modern day.
Yeah.
Check the vagina.
Watch, you see his most savage moments here. Let's see. Top savage moments here. Okay.
Me.
When you decide to come back to the States, are you going to be a freelance writer? You're going to hit me up for shit. You can't have a man like me.
I think I can, but
bitch, cool. Please. No. You ain't fine enough for a man like me.
Oh my God, that's not fair. I have my bonnet on.
No, I don't care. You can have on your best dress in somebody else's hair. It still ain't gonna work.
Okay,
because your mindset ain't right.
Yeah.
Your mindset ain't right.
Yeah.
I told you, man, I was trying to help you, but you keep going on. So I'm like, all right.
No, I'm letting you help me.
No,
I'm making that's what I'm here for.
No, you're trying to. What you're doing is you're avoiding the conversation.
Yeah, I'm just living life. I'll never be too old.
Of course,
black don't crack. I have a baby face.
Yeah, black. See, guys, you can't make this shit.
What was that? A herd of women?
With me,
have they herd of very obese women?
Yes. Have they become more productive?
Yes.
Where is the proof of that?
Proof of it is in my peace of mind. It's in the quality of men that I've dated. It's also within my mental health.
The proof would be if you had a man. That's the only way to prove that, ma'am.
Maybe it's time to stop because I don't know why you're cursing at me. I guess.
Yeah, get the fuck off my phone. Well, it all depends upon the intellectual dominion of the world and the transgressions and the aquameridians of the Bernoulli.
This guy always makes me laugh.
Let him go on, because now he's getting scientific.
If was the fifth, and we get down when to do the butt. Do you have a man? Nope. Are you having better personal relationships? Yes, I certainly am. Where's your man? Don't have one. How can you tell? Well, I feel better about not having one. Did I miss that, somebody?
There's a lot of chubby dudes, so
No, but okay. How much do you weigh?
220.
I weigh 210 and I'm 6'4". You broke the first rule. See, you ladies don't mind breaking the rules. The men are visual. The men want women that are fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive. I don't mind being the size of, I'm sorry, you're 5'8"?
I'm 5'8".
You're about the size of Emmett Smith or Barry Sanders was. You're running back size. You can hit the A gap like a motherfucker.
Yeah, all right.
So don't come in here and talk about what men should not be able to do when they got to accept somebody who can run out the power I. I mean, I'm being silly. I'm being silly because to make a point.
Wow, what did he pass away from?
Let me see here. So it says that he had died at 57. Uh-oh. Of course, the paywall. Oh boy. Damn New York Times and their freaking paywalls. Hold on, I'll find out. Let's see. I think he died of like a heart attack. Oh, it says, I don't know, this might be wrong. It says, thanks, Kevin. Somebody thinks TK Kirkland, I'm not sure who that is, thinks Kevin Samuels died from drinking Red Bull. Don't know.
Also, it might have been a heart attack. That Red Bull shit, I drink it sometimes, but I don't know. That shit is a little bit too caffeinated.
Yeah, it's a little bit much. I drink it from time to time, but I don't like to drink it that often. It says here, declined to release details. So it looks like his mother declined to release details about what happened. So it's a mystery of what really happened.
You know what that means?
No. No, what do you think it means?
Cocaine.
Maybe.
Cocaine is involved. There's a drug there involved.
But this guy, his just a little bit more because this guy is a savage.
You say no. Well, ma'am, you made babies with him.
Yeah, but I was young. I feel like that's not fair. I was very young. We all make mistakes.
That was pathetic.
Say that again.
I said, I feel like that's not fair because we all make mistakes. And I was young and now I'm older.
I'm not seeing the video.
5 years old and you feel like that's not fair. Ma'am, you sound like a...
What?
Bitch, if you want a burger, eat a burger. Bitch, if you want a french fry, eat a french fry.
I mean, seriously, ma'am. I feel like that's not fair. That's not something an adult says. Name me the product that gains value with age and use.
A product that gains value with age and use.
Yeah.
I want to say, wine, but I may be different. I may be wrong.
No, I said a product. Where can you go buy a mind? A product.
Oh, a product. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna tell me.
Yeah, nothing. Nothing. And let's just talk about your cookies. They're getting older and they've been used. You're right. They don't.
Oh, you are ornery.
No, I'm honest. I'm honest, ma'am.
No, I'm just giving you my reality because everybody else out here living this facade in this fairy tale world.
You need to connect your microphone. You need to connect your microphone. Lieutenant Worf, connect your
Lieutenant Worf.
I could go in this bitch. Oh, come on.
This guy's
connect your microphone, man. Connect your microphone. Clock. Security detail. What the hell? Oh God. Lieutenant Dimmer. Oh, go ahead, unmute you. Okay, unmute yourself. Hey, how are you? Hello? Clock. Hello?
Yes, it's connected.
He had like
And what would you
he
rank
had about like
yourself
1.2
on the
million
open market?
followers or something like that.
I'd say 5.
Yeah, he grew out his following up to like 1.2 million followers, I think, on TikTok.
7, 8.
You can't use 7.
Why not?
I don't have to explain it to you. I said you can't use 7.
Well, he asked her to rate herself, and she says that she's about a 7 or 8. He said you can't use 7.
7.
Why?
Young lady, I'm going to say it one more time.
Or what number should I use?
The right one, which is a 5.
5.
Yeah. You're a bit of a
Why
5.
would I be a 5?
Because you're average.
Okay, and what makes me average?
Because you look average. You go in the club, you stand in a long line. You don't get in VIP. You stand in line with the men. It's not a bad thing. You don't
Dang,
ride
not
up.
even a 6?
No, not even a 6.
Wow.
Why, man? What's wrong with being average, though?
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, apparently not, because up to these the questions of the show. Are you married?
Right. Am I married?
Mm-hmm.
Are you married?
I'm going to ask you one more time, and if not, I can beat you if it's not.
Oh, so the narrative is if I'm not.
Are you married? If you're not going
what does that? But what does that matter?
Going to do what
Okay, I'll say this much: I choose not to be in a relationship.
I choose not to be married. She said, "Do you have woman issues?" And I'm like, "Look, homeboy, you're the last person. Do you have problems with people? Do you have people questioning whether you were naturally born a woman?" It's the real question.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
Do you live in a gutter? Excuse me, sir? Do you live in a gutter?
So this guy, his
What
claim
do you
to
mean,
fame,
do I live in a gutter? Because you're a gutter goblin.
right? This guy, his claim to fame was telling women, like they heard it for the first time. Listen, you're a gutter goblin. Listen.
What?
Listen, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're a gutter goblin. And that's why you can't find a man, because you're looking for somebody ain't there. Nobody wants you.
Do you know you look like Lieutenant Worf?
Oh,
What?
man.
You look like Lieutenant Worf. What? Let me tell you in Klingon.
Oh, man.
Maybe you understand Klingon.
He's no longer with us, but man, was he funny. And
wow, I missed that one.
One last funny thing that I have was this new thing. Have you heard that now you've heard of the metaverse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now people are complaining that they are getting raped in the metaverse.
How can that happen?
Well, apparently
now there's virtual rape.
Yeah, apparently now you're going into the metaverse, and like, you know, people do this in video games now. When you shoot somebody in Call of Duty, they go over their body, and it's called, in the video game world, it's called teabagging, which they crouch down and they they put their balls
lower
on
their
your
nuts.
face. Yeah, and
They
that's
nut
in the
bomb.
gaming. Yeah, in the gaming world, they call it teabagging. So that happens normally in the gaming world. right? So for it to happen in the metaverse to me is not out of the ordinary because that's a gamer mentality. But apparently, women that are going into this metaverse are feeling overwhelmed because now they're getting raped in the metaverse, and those women are psychologically altered because of this experience.
Oh Christ, here we go.
A woman from London shared a horrible experience claiming that her avatar in Metaverse was sexually assaulted and gang raped by other users. The victim of the virtual assault, Nina Jane Patel,
But look at
She
the
got gang
avatars.
raped.
But look at the avatars. You see how they look?
Oh my god.
and gang raped by other users. The victim of the virtual assault, Nina Jane Patel, described the entire incident in a Medium blog post, alleging that it transpired within seconds of her entering Meta's version of Metaverse.
So she entered the metaverse, and within seconds they gang raped her. This is what's going on in this whole Facebook metaverse.
You can't
As
make
per
this
reports,
shit up.
Nina stated that the horrible experience happened so quickly that she couldn't even think about putting the safety barrier in place. I froze, she added. It was surreal, it was a nightmare. The 43-year-old also described how she witnessed her avatar being sexually raped by a group of male avatars who photographed her and sent messages like "Don't pretend you didn't love it." Nina presently works for Cadetry Ventures.
Don't pretend you didn't love it.
An immersive technology firm, as vice president of Metaverse Research. She told the Daily Mail that she promptly ripped off her headphones to end the encounter, and she has been experiencing anxiety ever since. Meta had launched.
She's been experiencing anxiety ever since.
Now she has PTSD.
From getting gang raped in the metaverse.
Horizon Worlds for people 18 years and older in the United States and Canada last year to virtually connect in Metaverse. Many people advised Nina that she shouldn't choose a female avatar next time, and she shouldn't be influenced by the experience because it wasn't genuine. Meta responded saying that such technical obstacles will be put in
Now,
place.
how do you rape somebody when you don't have legs? Are you noticing that? Then none of them have legs?
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
None of the avatars have any legs.
So imagine how that gang rape happened. That shit
What
is
are they-
even more heinous.
A bunch of guys surrounding them.
To
Oh
prevent
my
such incidents from happening again.
Subscribe to One India channel.
So that made me chuckle.
Unreal. Well, we have reached the end of
Yes,
this
we have reached
podcast.
the final end. So I'll leave
Can
you.
you queue up? Can you queue up Wondolito so he can let the audience know?
Let's see here.
This is our friend, our extraterrestrial friend.
Let's see here.
He comes from a planet called Bakini.
Bakini?
like bikini, but with an A. Bakini. And his race of people are called Bakini.
Okay, so here we go.
Hey guys, thank you for joining the Paranormal Experience podcast. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys got educated. And I hope you guys tune in again. But you know what? These guys work hard. And by hitting that donation button can help them continue to provide good content and future podcasts. Anything is accepted and appreciated. And again, please tune in every Monday. And remember, if the universe is infinite, then so are the possibilities.
Thank you so much, Guandolito.
You can't show him on the screen.
I don't have him loaded up, and in order for me to have it ready, I'll have it ready next time. But I wasn't able to have it ready for this time around. But he'll be ever present in our future cast for sure.
And you gotta queue up also. Next time we gotta introduce Lucy.
I'll give myself a
Pow! Pow!
for not having it ready.
There you go.
And I'll give you a little taste of Lucy over here. Let's see.
Oh no, this guy is dangerous. I'm afraid of Lucy.
You gotta be careful of Lucy. He doesn't like to be called that, by the way.
Yeah. He likes his whole name.
Lucifer.
That's right.
Pow! It's pow!
All right, Mr. Lucifer. Mr. Lucifer.
Yes, Mr. Lucifer.
All right, guys.
All
With
right.
that said, it was very fun. I'm having a blast with this podcast. And bear with us. We are still ironing the kinks. And we're getting better as we learn this podcasting world. I hope you had a good time and you learned something. And again, we are learning from you. Whatever information we gave you that might be not accurate, please let us know so we can make the proper corrections on the next podcast. Again, we're just like you.
Right. And again, to contribute to the podcast, you can just go to thepyramidshop.com. That's thepyramidshop.com. There you can donate, you can become a producer, you can shop for various survival equipment.
Can you post up the website on the?
Yeah, actually, I can.
Post it up so that they can sing.
All right. Look at that. Look at that. Our own very own donate button. And let me see if I open this up. Could you see? Did you see this little remember, donate. Obama has drone. Obama has drones.
And blow up the website so that they could see physically what. Can you do that or no?
Let me see. Let me see what you're looking at here. What do you see? Do you see the full website here?
I see the website. I just don't see the. Okay, well there it goes. The Pyramid Shop. See that right there?
Yep, the pyramidshop.com.
It's all to the pyramidshop.com. No spaces, just the pyramidshop.com. You can get some really cool stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, we even have like watches, some smart watches here. We have a bunch of different watches here. Some of them are fitness tracker smart watches. And we have a bunch of things: shortwave radios, telescopes, survival gear, and soon Mr. Anesto Morado should be having his catalog of art that he does. Maybe we'll.
Oh yes, yes. I also do commission pieces. Let me see if I can. You could see more or less. Let me take off the virtual backgrounds.
And one thing I was thinking about doing for us to maybe think about in the future for future casts is opening up a phone line and having people air in their grievances. They can call us and rant on the phone if you have a gripe
Oh
about
yeah,
something.
we should have a 10 to 15-minute vent hotline.
Yeah,
Rant about whatever you want. Soup to
whatever.
nuts.
Yeah, and
Whatever's aching you, whatever's bothering you. Like I'll give you an example. Why do pizzerias in Massachusetts do not know how to cut a pizza? They cut it up in fucking squares. How
In
can you eat a
squares?
pizza in squares?
What? They cut it in squares over there?
Type in Massachusetts pizza
Man.
cut. And then you call them up, you order a pizza, and you say, can I have it cut into a pie? There's a $3 charge.
Oh my God.
They charge you to cut a pizza the way it's supposed to be cut.
Oh, so it
What
looks like
the
this?
fuck is going on? Yes. So imagine you're stuck with the middle piece. You get no fucking crust.
Oh, that's horrible. And they charge you to do it the right way. This way is more.
Yes.
It's more inconvenient. Oh,
but
my
yeah, you
God.
go every fucking pizzeria in Massachusetts. You order a fucking
my
pizza,
God.
and that's what you get. But yeah, you go to a 7-Eleven, and they give it to you the right way. What the fuck? We want a slice. We don't want a fucking domino-sized pizza.
I mean, that's why it's called a slice of pizza. You want a slice.
Yeah. You don't want a section of pizza.
That's odd. I didn't know that you New Englanders out there do that crazy stuff.
Hey, I'm from the Big Apple. I just fell in love with Narnia, and I bought Narnia. But I didn't know I was signing on to fucking little fucking square pieces
pizza.
of fucking pizza. We like a slice.
I can't believe it. And you know what? Speaking of pizza, the other day I had there's a pizzeria not too far from where I live, and it's Argentinian pizza. I've never had Argentinian pizza. Quite good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite much.
How was it cut?
Like a normal damn slice.
Fuck Massachusetts. If in Argentina they know how to cut a fucking pizza.
Unbelievable.
This is why
I was in Colombia. I was in Medellin, Colombia, and I had a slice of pizza in Medellin, Colombia.
So for you New Englanders, and this is an example of the vent line. This is what you guys are going to be able to do. You can call in and vent about everything. I'm venting about Massachusetts fucking pizza. I mean, besides the fact that it's not the greatest fucking pizza, I would figure you can get a good slicing, or you don't get slices, you get sections. I don't know if New York water or whatever the fucking recipe they use in New York, but in Massachusetts, the pizza is not that fucking great. And then added to that, I got to get a piece with no fucking crust because I'm eating the middle. It's simple. I'm going to teach you how to fucking cut a pizza. You take the fucking pizza roller, the cutter, you make a cross, right? Then you make an X.
Done.
Fucking done.
You're charging me $3 extra to do it.
You're charging, and dummy, You fucking stupid motherfuckers. It takes more effort to go 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right.
5, 6 instead of like whack, 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 whack.
That's why we do it. I mean, it's a circle. I mean, that's pie charts. Everything is a try. I mean, what?
I don't understand it. They're fucking with my. I'm not a pizza guy by any stretch of the imagination, but from time to time, I enjoy a pizza.
Right.
And there's nothing better than to fold a slice.
Right.
You shove it into your gullet.
And you plug that
that little tip when of the pizza, you know,
Right.
that fucking oil, whatever that transmission fluid that they put on it, it just tunnels down your gullet. But with a square fucking piece, you fold it in half.
Face.
It gets all over the fucking place. You don't have like a little
my
funnel. Proper way to
man.
eat pizza, you fold a triangular piece of pizza and you shove it in your pizza hole. And
call it a day.
We're happy. You call it a day. You fill a hole.
Man. Well, that was a good example of a rant. And I was thinking of there's a way that we can do it. Because as our audience knows that we don't go live at the same time every day. So it's hard to do open up a live channel, but what we'll do, it will be voicemail only, and it'll come right to our email, which will be pretty cool. And then we'll come up with some catchy jingle, you know.
And we can play, and we could play all the rants.
Exactly, and we'll play all the rants.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
We'll call it the vent line.
The vent line, 1-800-CALL-VENT or something. Hot vent. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Hot vent. We gotta come
1-800. You cut a fucking pizza into a pie.
We gotta come up with O'Reilly, but with our jingle. Ow!
Yeah.
But we gotta have our own for the hotline, hot vent.
Yeah. We'll get one.
We'll get one. Well, this concludes the Paranormal Experience podcast, and I'll leave you.
It was a pleasure being with you.
I'll leave you with this strange song that Alexa had put me on to.
For all of existence, humanity has been guided by only one principle: to keep living.
The strangest shit that I find.
Kind of catchy.
We will never cease to seize the day, or give up the future, come what may. Living round in our world, though the earth will turn a final time, there is more to know and much to find, so we must focus on overall.
Christ almighty. What's the name of this group? The Branch Davidians?
It's called Caro Bonito. The song is Well Rested.
Where do they come from? Zaytan?
Humanity is not worth existing.
The island of
This is power to
Satan.
ensnare the living, a lie of the weak-willed, the inhuman. Their temples are disarray, and they surely cannot know what only Gaia knows. The resurrection will come only when Gaia requires it. It will not come to you. Be careful, our mother. We will
What the fuck is this?
The fact that they're so serious.
And the leader of the Branch Davidian is working the music box. Look at him. He looks exactly like a young version of him. Look at him. Oh my God, look at the guy in the background.
Well, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate
Woo!
it.
There go the human hybrids right there. Peace. And remember, if the universe is infinite, so are the possibilities. Unbelievable.
Good night.
Good night.